Welcome, Sketchbook Heroes. We're going to be drawing this cat in time for October, or just for fun. It's just a cat, no reason. So we have our head. Our head is about a little bit less than 4 times. We're looking at the ratios and actually the proportions. The ratio would probably be, it's probably twice as wide as it is tall. If we get the width, yeah, here we go. Let's check that out. The width, the height of the head, that's our ratio. That's a 1. And then the width, 1, 2. So it's twice as wide as it is tall. That's the ratio. And we're getting that same width, that same height of the head. And then we're bringing it down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, a little bit less than 3. So that's fine. So let's start off here. Let's start off with our oval for the head. Sketch it in. There's our sketch. There's our oval sketch. And it should be about twice as wide as it is tall. And a good thing to do too is if when you're first starting, let's say you want to sketch it, you can actually let's try it on another paper. Let's try it on the other page. You can make 2 marks. That's the width, and then you can get those marks and see that's the width or the height. And then you go here and make that mark. Take that same measurement, go out there. And then kind of connect those. And when you're first going this slow, sometimes, you know, it's a little harder, but you'll be more accurate. And it's a good practice. Just try to get that oval, because that oval's everywhere. When you're trying to make a can, when you're trying to do other stuff, you'll see that oval shape. So there we go. That's our next step to form. So let's back to the cat. There's the head. 3 times down. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's go down to here. This is where the bottom is going to be. All right. And let's find the axis lines. So we're going to find the axis lines of this oval shape. We're in the middle and the middle. This is the axis minor and the axis major. There we go. And then there's going to be the width of the neck. So once we have the center and learning to see the distance, and check your distance, make sure it's there. Here's our neck, that width, check the distance from the center out, and then just bring it down. This one just comes straight, pretty much straight down out to the first simple little foot. And it's just kind of like a little half. Actually, if we went all the way over, you don't have to do this, but it's like a circle, half circle. There we go. So it's just a little piece of a half circle. But I will erase that now. And there we go. That's how it's constructed. We're constructing this cat. Then the neck comes down. And right around here, it looks like the letter H. And it comes out right in the middle of this whole neck. It's got a long neck. Comes out and down. And I would line it up to this cheek. It's right around there is where it needs to come down. Right around there. Come down. See, looking at the relationships. I probably made mine a little bit taller than the cat there, but that's okay. I can see it and appreciate it as it being different. Yeah, sometimes, you know, we try to be the same, but we got to appreciate our differences too, you know, appreciate the differences. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do this tail, and I'm going to actually simplify the tail as an oval. So seeing this oval shape right in here, right in there, see that oval shape? I'm going to change my cat here, but see that oval shape? That's going to help me draw the tail onto there. So I'm going to attach it. So I'm going to go here and go around and then come back over. Boom, like that. See that oval shape? I attached it. Now we're going to do the inside, or the thickness of that tail. I'm going to go here and then just bring that around. And doing this line is going to be more challenging because you want to try to keep it somewhat the same thickness. You're actually drawing a thickness and trying to make that tail solid as it comes around and back down here. And sketch it out, clean it up. If you need to sketch it, there we go. And that oval up on top kind of helps make it look more solid too. Look at this one. I don't know. They were both all right. And actually with this one, this tail, I actually went up and I went in too far. So when I came back down, I came back down this way. I had to adjust and add this part, but you can't tell because I just shaded right over it. So and it's all that little problem solving. It's like, okay, wait a minute. How can I fix this? How can I solve it? And it's great with pencils here. See, there's my tail. All right, looking good, looking good. Let's zoom in and do the head. Just focus on the head. Really simple eyes. And it's going to go in the top half, and you can put a little bit of a slant to it and actually aim for the middle if you'd like. A little bit of a slant. A little bit of a slant as it goes up like that. So they're going down like that. There we go. Let me make my eyes a little bigger. Looking at the size. And then the top, just we're going to go little rainbow, half circle. Oh, there we go. Rainbow, half circle. There we go. Add the ears. Now the ears, just triangles, but they come off. This is where I've had students struggle seeing the end of that, the end of this oval. So the end of the oval we're kind of coming up, and right, just imagine you're like driving a little car as you're up the ramp, and you go up the ramp, and then you go up and then back down to make that triangular. It's a triangle and a circle. If a triangle and a circle had kids, this is what the kid would look like somewhat. And there's a lot of variance, you know, but you'd have the rounded edges on that cat. There we go. Now I can see here, I can see how wide it is. So I'm going to try to get that same width here to here. I'm kind of seeing it, kind of imagining it, maybe sketch it in lightly so I can get it to kind of like see where I'm going to put it. And then just go the opposite way. Here we go. Bring it this way and drive up my little ramp as it comes up to a little more of a point. And there we go. Let's come back, comes back down. Attach it there. All right, all we need are the whiskers and we're done. All we need are the whiskers and shading in. So I'll just add two little whiskers, one here. Watch your thickness. Another one. If you have markers would be fun to color it in or just shade it in real quick. It doesn't have to, I mean, this is just a sketch. So it's not like, you know, don't worry about perfection. It's about progress. It's about the process. It's about how did they do that? Oh, I can see the shapes now. I can see the shapes. And these are simple shapes. The shapes get more complex. So they, you know, it's like you know, this is a drawing for beginners because the shapes are simple. Then the shapes get more complex.
Hilario, are you using a gray crayon for that?
No, this is a pencil outline drawing bead. HB. It's an HB.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can press harder. I can actually press harder. See, this is just a lead pencil. I'm not pressing that hard because then it's I'm just shading.
Where do they sell those, Hilario? At Michael's or something?
Yeah, Michael's. They just drawing pencils. This is just a drawing pencil. It's nothing fancy. You can actually even use just a regular #2 pencil. I mean, that's why I like using it. You know, once you're getting into shading and stuff like that, then that's when you want to maybe invest into the HBs and the Bs. You know, but I do have a bunch of these. Let me see. I don't know. Get my store going. I know I've sold one set of colored watercolor pencils. I'm going to put more stuff on a store and create a store, but I'm just really busy with other stuff right now. So yeah, eventually, little by little, inch by inch, okay, slowly but surely, things will get going. I've been putting bids on murals and stuff. All right, let's zoom out. I think we're just about done.
Is Staple a good place to shop for?
Staples?
Yeah.
Yeah, Staples has some good art supplies. I mean, you're not going to get everything, but they do have get it. Any office place has some basic art supplies. The office places do. All right, just shading here. Just shade. Good practice for shading. Really quickly. Practice your shade. It doesn't have to be a black cat. It could be a gray cat. Well, our Zoom bomber left. Yeah, Blix has a lot of art supplies. Yeah, it's one of my, it used to be called the art store. Yeah, Blix. Yep. And there's our cat. Yeah, the hardest part of the cat is probably trying to get that parallel. And that's a good practice, that same thickness. Because you're drawing one line and then you're trying to draw another line, but you're drawing the form, you're drawing that shape, that tail shape. Shake that tail feather. All right, there's our cat. Let's go to something a little more challenging. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go with Casper the Friendly Ghost next. Let's see. All right. Welcome. Oh, we got a whole bunch of people. All right. 30 people here tonight. Awesome. Welcome, Sketchbook Heroes. Awesome. And Sketchbook Warriors and everybody in between. We're here just to practice. The lessons kind of are in there. I'm working on the lessons, but we're just here to practice and have fun. So we are drawing, we'll be drawing Casper the Friendly Ghost. And then we'll be, for those of you just getting here, let me share my screen and show you what we're going to be drawing. No crows, but if we go to our meetup, let's go back. We have 7 pictures were submitted. So it's important to submit something. You know, we won't get to draw everything, but I'll get to choose. We're going to draw this Casper. It's interesting. Just the shape of the head is really interesting and was a challenge for me to draw when I was growing up, but I took on that challenge. I remember drawing him. And then this one, even more difficult, I think, but we'll do that one. And then this one, we can do this one. And then this one, I can probably simplify this one. Actually, you know what? I will probably move this one forward because it's not, what's hard about it is the shading and the coloring and stuff, but the drawing itself is not that difficult. But we don't talk about color. We don't talk about, we don't go into that unless somebody really wants to. And here, this is definitely, we can probably even spend the rest of the night just doing this if we want to get really close to this. But this is a still life, really nice. Somebody asked for landscapes, but we can draw this and get to that point. And the hardcore heroes, the people who are here like later, that last hours, the second hour, the third hour, we can probably spend more time on a drawing. Yeah, yeah, this is definitely can be more time consuming, can be done. All right, let's go back. Let's go to our Casper. There we go. So we're going to break them down. Let's break them down. Something in the chat. Look at stores that sells kid stuff. You can get sketch kit. Yeah, with HB pencils, some charcoal. Yeah, for less than $15. Yeah, you can. Want to see my pumpkin art? Oh, Josh has some pumpkin art. Maybe after when we go to share. After, I think we'll share after our after this one. We can share. It'll probably be our half hour, and we can do that intermediate. Let's break this one down. Now I wish I could tilt my oval shape, but I know with this program I can't. But it is like an oval shape in here, and it is slightly tilted, the head. So let's see how it looks with a perfect circle in it. Here's our perfect circle. Oh, that's interesting. Let's move it. There we go, right in there. You see, so that you can kind of get a perfect circle in there, and then it's kind of like pulled out out this way and kind of comes out this way. Now it kind of comes to the head. I like seeing these angles here. There's this kind of angle here that kind of goes out that way. And then this angle that kind of comes in this way and then kind of comes out that way. And if you can, the curves can confuse, but if we simplify it and just kind of see it like this, these shapes, kind of abstract it, that really helps. Like here, even this arm where there's this curve and stuff, you can see it like just as a straight lines. And then this is straight line this way, and then straight line that way. Right. And even here, this curve, this is a major curve. We have a straight line that way and a straight line that way. And this curve too, almost parallel with this here. And then coming back forward. This one's almost straight down and then back. Straight down, straight across. Well, I can probably put two angles in here too. But this is definitely an oval. Those ovals would fit there perfectly, really nicely. So yeah, Walmart is a good place to get, you know, they have a nice selection of basic supplies. And look at that oval right there. Boom. Another oval right in there. Ooh, nailed that one. And then the oval right in there. All right. All right. Let's get Casper going. Oh, let's look at this. This is really important. This is really important. Here are the eyes. One is a little bit taller. And you can see this. You want to see the relationship. And then you can see and also see the angle, that axis line right there. And then this angle here. So you almost have to see, we're talking about parts and whole. You got to see the parts and you got to see the whole. Right? How does it fit? What is it? How do they relate to each other? You can see even here this, we can actually draw a line there as well. And ooh, wow, that's interesting. We probably actually would run into a vanishing point. That's interesting. I've never noticed this. A vanishing point. So perspective, things go to a vanishing point. Oh, that's interesting. And that would probably go to a vanishing point. Something like that. Oh, that's really interesting. Look at that. It lines up to a vanishing point there. Yeah. And so this is closer and this is further away. So this eye's closer and then everything else is further away. Look at that. It lines up really nicely to a vanishing point. Very nice. Wow. Amazing. All right. I'm going to put this in the chat and we're going to get going on this. Let's get going on this. Let's clear my drawing, clear all drawings. All righty. Let me copy this, copy image address, put it in the chat. There it is. All right, here we go. On this journey. All right, so I didn't see the relationship. So interesting. The relationship of the head to the body. But I know it's kind of like a circle shape, that circle shape head. And it does pull out. So we have that circle shape and then it was pulling out. It's not a perfect circle. And then this angle here and that angle there and then there. And I would say it kind of like curves onto this angle here. I'm trying to get those angles. I'm already adding the curves. There's our head. Might have to pull it up slightly. Just to capture that solid shape. This solid shape, it's really solid. And this is where you might struggle. The cat definitely is beginner. This one is definitely intermediate or more advanced. Because you want to try to capture that solid feel of the head. That solid feel of the head. Let me zoom in. Yeah, see that head. This angle right in there. And that. Notice the relationship. There's our circle. No matter how small, if we draw that this small, and then, you know, draw Casper this small, the relationship would be, it does come out and then in, out and in, right. Then he has his body. The body is, let's see, the head, 1, 2, probably 2.5. So here's the head, that's 1, and then 2, and we're really going to push it down to the bottom down here. It's probably less than, it's probably a little bit more. I'm going to shrink them. I have to shrink them down a little bit down to the bottom. So let's zoom out. So here's the head, 1. The body is going to be 1.5, 1.5 down to the bottom. If you need to make the head a little bit smaller at this point, you can make the head a little bit smaller, but the body is 1.5 times the size of the head. All right. So let's get the body in there. I'm just going to block it in. I'm going to block in the body, and then we'll get into to that. The body kind of comes out and in. Actually, out in and down. This thickness here, the oval of the feet. There we go. There's 1, 2. There. So yeah, try to get that distance here to here. It should be about 1.5 times. So here's the size of the head. That's 1. Bring it down. That's 1, and then half. All right. I think mine is just a little bit less. All right, the elbow's right about up here. Here's the arm. I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to put bubbles. This really helps with form. There's a bubble here, a bubble there, bubble arms, bubble people. And then the hand is this circle shape right in this other oval shape right in there. Right there. And I can see this other hand right about there, that circle shape. And then we kind of just, it's going to just kind of attach itself there. There we go. I might have to make some adjustments, but it's more or less there. I did bring it in. I did bring it in, and I did bring this in. So I was making those little adjustments, but that's pretty close. It's pretty close. We can get drawing on the head. We'll focus on the head, and then we'll come back down to the body. But we've got it pretty much placed where it's going to go. All right, let's focus on the head. Let's focus on this face. All right, so we've got an eye. This eye is right in here at this angle. So this eye at this angle here, this angle. So I see this angle right there. And then I can see how big the eye is. The eye, if we actually use that as our axis line, the center of the circle, that's how big the eye should be, right? That middle, right at that axis line. That axis line should be in the middle of the head. And then using that as our guide, that's where our eye is going to go, this oval shape, right in there, right in there. Just like that. Right, there's our eye. Let's do the pupil. We're all pupils here. There we go. A little bit of overlapping. So it's a circle there, and then there's overlapping, kind of comes out. And so if it's bigger, right in there, like that. There's a nose in the middle. The nose is going to go right about here, right there. You might have to push this out a little bit, fit that other eye in there. It does curve out. Yeah. Yeah, make just little adjustments. There we go. This eye goes at a different angle. It is a little higher up. If we do our axis lines, our vanishing point, it was a little bit higher. And it's also a little bit lower, slightly lower from this eye. We're looking at that relationship. And then the angle is out this way. Just kind of like follows that shape of that eye. So you can almost see, if you were to put these axis lines, this V that comes down like that. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do this second eye. Right in there. I did the tops and the bottoms. Right in there. Try to get that placement. All right. And then we have this, the eye, the pupil kind of like sticks out. It's kind of like peeking outside this little side. It peeks out just like that. There we go. That looks good. Notice that angle, this angle. Notice the spacing as well, the spacing in here, right? That negative space, the top of the head. Let's do the nose. Let me finish up the nose. It does curl up and then go down like this. So there's a little bit of like a pudge. So it's not really half because of perspective. It comes forward. Then kind of like the bridge of the nose kind of going up like that. There we go. That looks good. Rounding everything out. Bring that in. All right, all looks pretty good. Looking at it. Just looking the way it flows, trying to get that solid shape, that solid feel. Looking at the space in here too, that's the negative space. All right, let's get the eyebrows. A little bit of an eyebrow, and then there's like an echo or a wrinkle in time, wrinkle on the forehead. So we've got the primary eyebrow, and then there's like a little wrinkle above it, like that. And this one does not have it, it just has one little eyebrow on this side, just kind of right in there. There's our eyebrow. And it's a little bit lower than this one. Remember, it's a little bit lower. And I think I'm not getting it to that perspective, but it's kind of going in that direction. And then the mouth, and then we're done with the head. All right, let's see. Strengthen that line. The mouth is really simple. There's line going this way for the mouth, and then the cheek going the opposite way, this way. There he is. All right. The shoulder, I'll give you a second to catch up. There are little curves and little stuff in there to get a little more accurate, but simplifying, keeping it simple. This teacher would always tell me, kiss, keep it simple, student. Keep it simple. And sometimes I do complex. All right. So I know this shoulder, I'm looking back and forth. I'm looking at my sketch and I'm looking at the drawing. I know I'm going to have to bring this out a little bit more, right in there, right under that. And then there is a form on this arm. I can sketch it in lightly because it comes in, then it goes out. And there's that the lower arm, because the arm is two parts, right? So a little bit, but once you have it there, once you have kind of the placement, this is the little curves are easier to put in, kind of like that, because they're really slight curves, not a lot. Ooh, let me zoom out. I drew the arm, so this is what I just drew right here. I did bring it in, and then I brought that arm down to our circle hand, right in there. And I'm going to have to, I can see the way the body kind of attaches itself to that too. So the body, the front, right under the nose, See, I can actually imagine a line coming straight down from the nose, and everything's kind of like right about there, right about, it kind of actually goes out in front of the nose a little bit. So the center of the nose just come out slightly. So I'm going to bring that body out. and down. Like that. There we go. There it is. Let's do this hand. The hand, the pointer finger is right in there, and then it comes up and down. Now the thumb is like two parts. There's two parts to the thumb. All right. So for the forefinger, let me draw it bigger. It was something like this. This little sausage pointer finger, like that. And then the thumb kind of comes down. And then there's another angle to it, like two parts. I'm going to exaggerate it. And then it goes out like that. That's the thumb. So these two parts. Here, so this, and then you attach it like that. So here it goes down here. There's the thumb. And then almost like the thick part up and around. And then this line goes underneath the body or behind it. It underlaps the body. There we go. There's one. Now the other fingers, so that this is that main part, and then the other fingers just go underneath it. We have two fingers. They just echo this first one. So once you have that ready, let me zoom in with his hand, a little claw, and then you just do the other two fingers that echo underneath. One, and then two. So it just echoes. Let me do it on this bigger one. Down, around. See, it just echoes that one, and then two. That's probably clearer than that is right there. So, but yeah, like that. You know, nice solid line. All right, let's get to the legs. I'm not gonna zoom in. I'm gonna keep it there. I'm not gonna zoom in or zoom out. So here's the leg. I'm bringing it forward. You can see right where the nose is, kind of seeing the relationships. Here's this, just swoops, and I'm probably gonna bring it down slightly. Bring it down because I know I need to bring it down. There it is. So it's just a swoop, a little bit of a wrinkle. There's the front toe. Now the front foot. Let's see the front. It does come down almost straight down, and notice the thickness. Notice the thickness of this back leg, or this leg in the back, the left leg. It's smaller, and this leg is bigger because it's closer to us. So they're using all these little things that artists use to create space. Things that are closer are bigger. They're using placement, which I call space pods. Things that are lower are closer. Things that are higher up, further back. Things that are closer are bigger. So yes, definitely intermediate to advanced drawing here. If you're a beginner and hanging in there, awesome. Awesome. Haven't been too beginner friendly. I got to get those beginner, because I'm getting people that are showing up regularly. So I don't want to, it's trying to find that right balance for everybody. Somebody said, oh, we're drawing too many cartoons. I'm like, okay, just the first hour. We're winding up the first hour. All right, let's finish this guy. So
there is no such thing as too many cartoons.
Yeah, well, all right.
I agree.
Okay, so there's the foot this way, and I'm really getting the feel of that upper leg. So you got that lower leg and upper leg as it comes up here. Just go out and up like that. There we go. Let's zoom out, see how he's doing. Oops, out. There he is, almost there. Casper the Friendly Ghost. I remember having a plastic Casper that glowed in the dark. All right, this hand, here we go. This is going to be interesting. We're going to focus on this hand. Let's zoom in again, because this is definitely a challenge for most people. I think everybody drawing hands. All right, so let's break this apart. So we do have our ovals. We do have our the upper arm, lower arm, and then this. I can see the thumb in here, kind of sticking out right in there. There's that thumb. Right, so it's like a half circle. And then the palm. Notice I'm giving it space for the palm. Right, that thumb is right on top of that circle. And I can kind of see the palm shape in there. It actually goes like that. And then there's another little palm shape right in there like that. Now we're going to cut in for the pointer finger. Cut in and then out. And then around like that. There's the pointer finger. Now this finger here is closer to us, so I'm going to draw this one next. And there's one finger, there's only 3 fingers plus the thumb. All right, so there's 3 fingers and the thumb. I'm going to put this finger here first because it's in front. Here we go, like that, right in there. I'm going to erase so you don't get confused because that was our guide oval there. There it is. Oh. And then there's a little sausage in between these two. A little circle, a little echo, an echo of that finger. Right in there. There it goes. That's it. That's it. They ink it in. An ink pen. Yeah, this is a really fine ink pen. These microns are really nice. Hard to ink this in. All right. Let's do this top part of the arm as it attaches right there. And then here it does taper. So you got to watch how it tapers. So it goes from here and then it goes out, right? There's a thickness, it goes wider. So as I'm drawing this line, I'm looking at this line. So I'm drawing this line and looking at the line, just like what we did with the cat tail, right? You already have one line, and as you're drawing the second line, you're kind of like looking at that other line and you're feeling the form. You're feeling that shape in there. And then we're going to bring it up and open it up like right in there for that arm. And then all this is erased. All this is erase that guy, that oval shape in there. And then our last line, and we're done with Casper here. Our last line, this line is going to be a trip. It's going to be our trip. It's our little roller coaster. So it kind of goes this way. Here's the shoulder. And then it goes, swoops down. Ooh. So there's the shoulder. And then it swoops down onto this. There's a little bit of overlapping here, this upper arm. Kind of, I guess there's a little bit of a wrinkle to show that it's in front and this is behind. That's how artists create space. So there's a little bit of overlapping of that arm as it comes out right there. And there it is, Casper the Friendly Ghost, the friendliest ghost you know. There he is, Casper the Friendly Ghost. All right, we're done with our first hour. We'll have 5 minutes to share, take a break, stretch. If you'd like to share your drawings, if you did other drawings, spiders are really cool to do. Just a circle shape, and then you just add shapes, little triangles to them. You can do that. Little triangle shapes, and you can put little faces on them. Spiders are always fun to do for kids. And you're learning to draw and see the shapes and draw the shapes and use shapes. Use your own imagination. It looks like a crab. That's the thing. We can judge our work too harshly, but that's okay. There we go. We can make him look more like a spider by doing that a little bit smaller. Maybe even getting it 2 circles in there. And then a little more like Spider-Man. Here we go. These angles on the legs. Kind of just fun. Yeah, arachnids. They have 8 legs. There we go. Little spider. All right. Anybody like to share? We'll share out. See any hands? If not, we can move on. But we do have some people want to share. All right, Ellen, what you got?
Well, I want to share the snail I did in my pen and ink class.
Oh, sweet.
So just coincidence. Let's see. There it is.
Oh, there you go. Wow, that's super cool. Nice textures.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
little designs there. Awesome. And you're using pen and ink. That's awesome. I love pen and ink. It's one of my first, actually, I think, yeah, I was using pen and ink before I started painting. All right, Yelena, let's see what you got. What you got?
Oh,
Oh, very, look at,
oh,
yeah, with teeth. Put it closer.
cute.
Put it closer to the camera. Closer.
Okay. Yeah, since I put the kitty, I
Yeah,
did symmetrical.
closer to the camera. Closer.
Not
Yeah,
enough.
detailed, closer. Yeah, there you go. A little lower. There he is. That's it. There you go. Higher.
Yeah, this different way.
Yeah, higher. There we go. Now we can see your work. Wow. I like the gradients. You're getting some really nice gradients.
Uh-huh.
A little
Thank you.
advanced stuff in there.
And my customers.
And there's your Casper. Nice. Friendly. Go so that you got some soft
Ooh.
form shading.
And the hand didn't work. I
It
tried
didn't.
this and that.
Oh,
It's okay.
it's
Like
okay.
you like to say, it's okay.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Try.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing. Josh, what you got, Josh? That's it. Here we go. Hey, Josh. How did it go for you?
It's my
Yeah, there's Gary. Oh, there's your birds.
Aw.
Okay. Ah, look at your cat. Very nice. Yeah, you should change the ratios on them, made it look a little different. That's cool. Oh, there's your Casper. Super cool.
nice.
Oh, I like the hanging
It's
string.
like a spider
and
That was
this
a really good
jack-o'-lantern.
touch.
and the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Let's trick or treat. Here's
Super.
one more. I'm gonna show you.
All right. Yes. You said that one more. And then there's a question for you, Yelena. Did you use watercolor pencils?
Some of yes.
All right. Oh,
Yes.
wow. Look at that pumpkin.
Oh, cool.
Michael Myers.
What is it?
Michael Myers.
Oh, Michael Myers. Are you going to cut it out?
Well, not today.
No. Oh, super cool, though. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, we used to paint. Super cool. All right. Thank you for sharing, Josh. Good to see you. Let's go with Peggy. Peggy, what you got? There's your Casper. Yeah, he's a tough one.
Yeah.
He's good, though. That's good.
Yeah, cute.
Looking solid.
And
He's friendly.
there's the bird.
Oh,
Oh,
that's nice.
And
There's a cat.
hmm.
You added that.
Cute.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's go with Ina. Ina, what you got? You got to put your camera. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
it's over Cynthia. But all right, go ahead. Ina, there we go. All right.
Sorry, I'm gonna put the background
We
off.
You know, to speak French.
So I didn't have a chance to do, sorry,
It's all good.
can you see me?
Yeah, I see you. I see you, Gary,
Yeah.
your chat.
Oh,
You really
nice.
went bold with them. Really nice.
Mhm.
Really bold. Very nice. Look at those eyes.
And then
What are you
the
using?
Casper. Oh, just artist law.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Artist law. Really? Colored pencils.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Show them again. I think it looked like
Okay, and then I wasn't here the last couple times, so I finished
Oh,
this
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Who did we draw? Who was this? I can't remember.
That's W.C. Fields. Good.
Who?
Yeah. He's got a lot of fascinating quotes. W.C. Fields.
Who? W.C. Fields. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's go with Cynthia. Cynthia, what you got? Hello. Look at your Casper. There he is. A little closer to the camera if you'd like. That looks great. Got his hand out. There you go. Great. Sweet, sweet. All right. Thank you for sharing. You got another one, and that's it. That's it. All right. I think we're going to go on to our next drawings. Let's see. We're going to go a little more challenging.
You need to go outside.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Participants, where are you? There you go. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen and let's jump to the next drawing. Oh, we're gonna go. Yes, this is. I see some of you struggle with this, and I'm gonna see if I can try to get this one. This next one is challenging as well. Actually, more challenging. There's a lot going on with the clothing and overlapping and underlapping. It's really basically. This is Casper. This is Casper again, but with the hair and because the same nose, the mouth is different. And it has more cheek here on this one. So if we go back to Casper, you can see the similarity. You know, it's just imagine this in color. So probably this. Yeah.
That's Wendy.
Yeah, that is Wendy. Yeah. But you can see Casper and Wendy are very similar. Very similar. Her mouth is a little bit wider. But there we go. And then she's got that
You'll be
same
going out.
swoop. Okay, Josh, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
All
Good
right.
night.
Let's see ya. All right, I see something in the chat. Let's see. Oh yeah, Wendy. Yeah, W.C. Fields is a great comedian. He did skits with Mae West. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's just go ahead and do this. Let me put it in the chat. I don't know if I did get the other one in the chat. I think it was having trouble. Try it one more time. Paste. There it goes. This time it did. There's Wendy. Let me zoom in. Let's break her down a little bit. I do see I'm going to try to keep the breaking down simple. This triangle here. Oh, different color. Let's go with blue. This triangle here. And it actually goes up to right about there. Once you see triangles, you got to see the angle. That angle really helps kind of solidify this space and shape right here. Oh, there. And then you can see everything else kind of related to it. And the head kind of comes out that way. This kind of comes out that way. And I would say this is kind of almost like a square in here, kind of like that, squared off. That would really help. This shape in here, that shape kind of going out that way and this way. Yeah, this is really complex. This is a really complex drawing here. Right, so really complex. Do the best you can. Again, it's just practice. This is just practice. So notice the angle. It does go up slightly. really slight. And if I were to put straight line across, you can see this kind of swoops up a little bit. So pretty close to straight, but it's just, it does go up slightly. All right, let's get Wendy going. Let's draw her. All right, here we go. Challenge, up for the challenge. I'm gonna sketch it in. Let's sketch it in. Let's sketch it all in. Here we go. So I've got the head. The head's kind of gonna go right in here. I'm gonna go with a circle, a little smaller circle this time. And let me see, make sure I'm spotlighted. Oh, I see Christy. I don't know if I did. Yeah, okay. Spotlight. There we go. Spotlight me. There's the head. And I know that the hair is actually going to come up a little bit more. So I gotta kind of think that's where the head's going to be. The hat's going to be right in there. Kind of imagining, but I'm using this circle as my starting point. And then the body underneath it. All right. Oh, that triangle. Let's get that triangle underneath. The relationship between those two, very I didn't really do a good job of seeing that relationship. But you should see this circle about there, that size, and then the triangle below, and then the spacing in between, that spacing in between the two. There's space. You have your triangle, almost an equilateral, which means they're all the sides are almost equal. This bottom is a little bit shorter for that angle. If you took geometry. All right. So we have our this is kind of like the structure here. I'm going to kind of block in the body. The hand is going to come up in here. And the hand, the arm, that's the arm. And the hand is going to be right about there. And it swoops out. And actually, that's pretty good. If you get this triangle, this is going to really be good, actually. And get this angle here, It's not 45-degree angle. It does swoop down smaller here. You can see this arm up there. Now, what's great about angles is that they don't change. They don't change. If I draw this small and I draw it big, or no matter how big, this angle is still going to be the same. The distance from the angle, if we were to measure angles with a protractor, it's not a 45-degree angle. It's not 90 degrees, right? It's less. They should equal 180 though. I remember that. If you add up all the angles on the triangle, they add up to 180. Anyways, we have the arm that's going above that triangle. That hand is going to go there. The body is swooping out in the middle of that arm, right in the middle. So you can see that arm right in the middle of that. It's going to swoop down and kind of like right down there like that. Look at that. I think that's great. The relationships right in there, kind of swooping down to the triangle. And then you got one leg. Let's do the legs. Swoop right in there. Swoop. You got one toe or one foot right about there. The other foot right about there. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. This is kind of hard, but that triangle really helps. And then I'm trying to get rid of that leg. This leg swoops, it swoops down and out, right? So let's go there and up. See that leg. And kind of, this is where you kind of almost have to see this whole leg as one piece right in there that goes with the front of the belly. All right. And that's looking good. Get that triangle, get it all to fit. If you have to move the head to get it closer to where it needs to be. But this triangle If you got your angle right. If you got it too wide, then it's going to be in a different. But it's learning to see those angles. That's the A in wrap. Ratios, angles, proportions, and then just practice, practice, practice. Thank you for joining us to practice our second hour here. We have our second hour of drawing. And we got our little oval here going up, over, going down. Trying to make sure that the feet are about the same size. There's a little, like she's wearing pajamas. Bananas and pajamas. And this part of the leg kind of goes in front. There is a little bit of a in front. And then this one's behind. This actually gives it a little bit of, because this leg is closer to us. Whereas Casper was facing the other way. This Wendy's facing this way to the right. Casper was facing to the left. And this one, this leg is closer. And this one's further back. Although they're on the same ground. This one should probably be a little bit higher because it's further up. But I mean just slightly. Let me see. Oh yeah, I can see it. It is just slightly higher. But I mean, just we're talking about fractions. But the artist did it. If you look closely at the picture, you'll see that this leg is up higher. This one's a little lower, just slightly. Make sure you're getting that taper. That taper where it goes from wide to thinner as it comes down to the leg, down to the foot. There we go. Try to capture that form. You really got to feel the form on this one. Really feel the form. Really feel the form. There's that shoulder coming down. That. This. Now I'm going to erase all my triangle on the inside. It's looking good. I really like that feel. Let's get the hands in here. So we got one hand in here, one hand right there. You might have to bring it out slightly. And then the other hand over here. And I see it right here. And I see the relationship and I see I'm looking at the big parts. Remember earlier we were talking about seeing the parts in the whole. Here I need to see where this is. This is a big part. I don't worry about the fingers. I don't worry about the details. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. There's a book. Don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah, you got to see the big stuff, the big picture. There's the hand. The hand is going to go right about there. This hand is going to go right about there. Then the arm, and it goes underneath and it kind of attaches itself to that hand right about there, this angle right there, right? There we go. I might have to make this, and then the wand, slight angle up. Wand, slight angle up. There it is. Really nice pose. Looking at this thickness here, right? The width. And it's almost looking at this, the ratio, right? The ratio, the width compared to the height. And it's harder here because it curves, but it's there. It's there. That curve does make it a little more difficult. She does have like a hoodie. So we're going to put that hoodie in there. Let's put that hoodie right in there. There's that hoodie as it comes around. Then her head, she's got her cheeks. We'll put those cheeks right in here. Then that head kind of comes up. And then the cheek is going to be right in here. There's this angle that comes up. I did get this oval. I sketched it in really quick. I'm going a little faster than I can explain. And then that cheek kind of attaches itself right in there. And I'm seeing that shape of his head right in there. I'd have to bring it up a little bit. I know there's her hair. There we go. I'm going to put a circle up here, like a holding spot for that hair. Yeah, that's what I see right in there. And then it comes out and down. So yeah, look at that. You can kind of see the hair right there, and then the shape right in there. You almost have to get a feel for it. That width and the height. Right in there, like that. All right. The hood kind of wraps around here. wraps around the hair. And then the tail part kind of comes out as a triangle like this, with an up and down to it. I'd probably say something like that. But notice this triangle. And then it whips up and down and around, kind of around in there in that shape. But this triangle helps place it. One eye is higher, one eye is lower. Like that, at that angle. And then we have this eye kind of going out at that. That would be the axis line. And then this one's going parallel. This one's almost straight up and down like that. And then the nose in between. Whew. I got to mute. That was quick. I sneezed. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thanks. Now we know. I know before I was like, bless you. Like back when I was growing up, back in my day, bless me. Wow, I just sneezed. I didn't do anything special.
Can
But
you
now,
trace the head again?
I'm sorry,
Can you trace the head again?
change the head,
A trace.
trace
How
the
you
head.
did, yeah, the face and the head.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's a good, oh, we got tracing paper here too. So let's see. Where did I put my sketch? Huh. Oh, there it is. A sketch request, a tracing request. That's great. So yeah, feel free to request stuff, do stuff over. I'm going to do the face of the head again with tracing paper. We got a lot of tracing paper here. I just ripped it. There we go. Look at that. So, all right. I don't know exactly which one you want me to do, but we've got this here. We've got this oval shape here that I kind of start off with. And then, right in there. And this circle up here, there's this whole area of hair that's going to go there. Right. So that's what I kind of did there. And then it curves in and curves out. Curves in and curves out, and I didn't have it zoomed in. There we go. There we go. Right there. Hold on, let me check something. I hear water running. Yeah, it was. Gotta fix that. I'm like, wait a minute, I've been hearing this water run. All right, there we go. So there's the hair is going to be right in there, that, and then this angle here and that angle there. I don't know if that was that was good enough to redo for
Yeah,
this.
thank you.
Oh, okay, good. All right. There's that oval shape. So then the nose is going to go right about here, right in the middle of the two eyes, and then the mouth right underneath. Right in here with a cheek, and then it's an open mouth right in there like that. So first try to get this and kind of see this when you're drawing this. I'm kind of seeing this shape in here as I put this line here, this one here, I see that. And then this is that cheek, and then here's the mouth, right? And they're just like little curves. There's the nose going back. And that curve like that. Now let's put the eyes in. Let's put the eyes in. So the eye is going to fit right in here, right in there, just like that. Oval shape going up. And she does have bigger pupils. Hers are bigger, almost halfway, I would say almost half. Right there. There we go. And then she does have an iris and the pupil. So there's the dark part, and then it's blue. She's got blue eyes. Shading them in. There's one. There's one eye. This eye here is at an angle, but it's also kind of like an oval shape. I'm moving it over slightly. Then where I had my axis line, but it is that angle, still that same angle. And then there's a cheek. So I'm going to put in the cheek first. Get that cheek in here. There's that cheek. Fits right in there. And then that eye kind of rests right on top of that. So see, I got my cheek line. And then now my eye, I'm going to bring it over even a little further. And kind of, there it goes, right in there. Right over my sketch. There's the second eye, the eye that's closer to us. It should be bigger, and it should be, if we get that angle here, and lower than this eye. Notice the relationships of these two eyes. That's another thing that makes this drawing difficult, because it's a 3/4 view. This is the 3/4 views I talk about, making it more challenging. So here we go. Let's do that eye right in here like that. And then the dark pupil. And then shade it in. Shade in the iris, little iris. Shading the iris in. There we go. There she is. There's Wendy. She looks good. All right, she's got some hair coming in. Let's do the little tuft. It's like the letter M, the curves on it. So here's one curve, one little triangle, and then the other little spike right in there. Fits right in there, just like that. Take a little break. Let you catch up. Let's get that eyebrow. There's an eyebrow up here. A little bit of an eyebrow. Not I did forget some eyebrows on another drawing a couple weeks ago. Bring that down a little bit so we can do the top of the hair. The top of the hair kind of comes in, even though I kind of have that placeholder. That's where that placeholder is, and it is actually pretty accurate. It's an implied circle. The hair is like an implied circle. So here we're going to go on that circle. On that circle, we're going to go curve around right in here, right up to 6 o'clock on that circle, just about. And then it comes up and then down and then up, swoops right on the circle like that. And then I'm going to bring this out a little bit more, out and back. So I had it as a guide, but I'm actually adding a little bit more to that circle here, there. There it is. And then there's one more little triangle right at the top. One more little triangle right at the top. And then it goes back onto the hood, the little hoodie or the little cap. Like a hood cap. I don't know what that is. It's interesting. Be fun to draw right now. All right, there's her hair. She's got one more little triangle on this other side that echoes this one. It goes on this side, another little M curving out and then down and then out and then down, right in there. All right, and right behind is that hood. I'll give you a second to catch up and show you what I'm talking about, because there's overlapping here. Instead of bless you, I say health to you, to your good health. Salud. Yeah, definitely. Especially in these days. Oh my gosh, people talking about long COVID and all that other stuff. Yeah, it was in the news. Oh, I think it was an NPR. I don't know what I was listening to. All right, so we're going to try to capture the thickness of this, and it's underneath here. It's behind. So this part of the cap it goes out and then in. So if you notice the thickness here, it goes, it's thin and then it goes out and then it goes in. Get that feel of that cap, and it's beneath this little hair we just drew right there. So that part of that cap right in there like that. All right, I think we might zoom out. I think, yeah, that's good. It fits right there. So you can see that part of this cap here. I'm going to attach that up and then bring it down, bring the whole picture down so you can see like how I have it. Right here, this attaches onto that like that. I'm bringing it down now. Here we go. Down, then up, and attach. So that is that part of the cap. But make adjustments. Like here, I made an adjustment that I didn't like, but it's all right. I know I like this on the outside a little better. The way it attaches, that looks good. She's almost there. Let me zoom out. You can see what she looks like there. All right, get that back of that cap right now. All right, so that little triangle really helps get that spacing. I'm gonna add a little bit of curve to that line in the back of her head. Make sure it kind of aligns to her head, back of her head. And then there's a little bit of a wrinkle. That's a little bit of a wrinkle. Coil fold. I'm gonna push this up and then down a little bit more. Another wrinkle here. A little backwards H. And then it gets the point here. There's the point. Bring it around. And then attach the hat. Another little wrinkle at the bottom. In there. And there's the hat with the little curvy triangular shape. That looks good. And you can see my sketching line underneath. Somebody said, yeah, they like the sketching line. Yeah, I really like the sketching line too. You can even see here in this boot camp, I'll share right now, the sketching. There's some portfolio pieces. You can see the loose, really loose sketch drawings, like on this side. There we go. There's some more. Yeah, the flow of line. This is a really good book. I have extra ones of these. Might be able to look at that. The looseness of it.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll draw some from here. I think probably next. Yeah. Yeah, we'll draw a couple from there next. All right, let's do the hands and we're just done. The hands, the hard part. The hard part, the hands. They're hard at first, but if you learn to break it down, that's going to be, let's break these hands down. Let's see where they're at. The hand kind of comes up and then down, and it curves for that thumb. So up and down, it curves for that thumb. So up and then curves down, and then wrap that thumb like around like that. There we go. And it's going to wrap around that wand. There's the thumb. Once you have the thumb, you have the fingers kind of coming in this direction. These fingers, all three of them, kind of come in this direction. They're all going in that same direction this way, right? So I'm gonna bring the first finger coming down this way, and then bring it back in that direction. Try to keep all the fingers in that same direction. This finger is probably the one that's most prominent. That's the main finger. And then the other one's just echo going back in that same direction. Right in there. Right in our original oval. right there. And then bring it back into the arm. Give it a little more wrist than I have here. And then inside here, there's an oval. There's a hidden oval right in here. So right in here, there's a hidden oval, the small oval. So it's an oval like this, and then the hand kind of comes out of it. So this little oval. Then now I'm going to have to bring this down. Right in there, right there. And there, attach it to that arm like that. There we go. The hand is done. Let's fix that wand. Put it back in. Round that tip because it's a cylinder. Rounded that way. And this one is almost straight, but I would probably round it out just slightly because it's going away from us. There we go. And then it's a magic wand. We've got to darken all this part. If you want to add form to it, it would, one side would be darker like that. And I just did that really quick. See, one side would be a little bit darker because light shines on the top. All right, one more hand and we're, I think, done. One more hand. All right, let's do this hand. All right, I can see this hand actually broken into 3 parts. We have these 2 fingers that are up here. These 2 fingers. Let's zoom in because this is an interesting little play. And notice the relationship of the top hand to the lower hand. It actually comes out slightly. So this line's vertical here. Yeah, there it is. This hand kind of comes out slightly. A little bit more. So we have my initial circle, and then we have this oval here. This is going to be our top 2 fingers, and then in between those top 2 fingers is one finger that's pointing out. The bottom is straighter than the top. This top kind of comes down, a little bird beak. It looks like a little beak, and then it curves into the palm, and then the thumb. So the thumb curve down, back, and around with the palm. So this is the palm right here. The palm curves in, then kind of comes out straight, and then the thumb kind of curves back. Just like that. Ooh. There it is. So there's the palm, curves, thumb straight, and then straight. So that thumb is there. And then this is going away from us, so this curves out this way. This, and if we were to see through it, it would be that oval shape in there, that ellipse. All right, so let's do these top 2 fingers and then put it all together now. So get the one that's closest to us. This one right here, this finger here is closest to us. And then the other one is behind that finger, just like that. So there's some overlapping. This is in front. It does curve out to that point and then back. Like that. There we go. All right. That's it. All right. I think that looks good. I'm gonna this actually line doesn't go all the way through, and that's the line that I'm pointing at is this belly part right here. This actually just, you only see like this little wrinkle here, and then this is all implied. All that's implied. There we go. All that's implied. So you have that and that. And if you'd like to shade it, color it, there we go. Little quick shade. Whoops, I'm upside down. Did that happen? Zoom out. Yeah, that's what I thought I was doing. Ta-da, there's Wendy. How does she look? I'm looking back and forth. I think we're missing that one line right in here. And I'm gonna shade her hair. I'll shade the red. If you have red, that'd be great. I do still have colored pencils, and I'll get that store going. Everybody wants colored pencils. Somebody calls it drawing with Eladio. Actually, I don't know if we should come up with a new name. It's sketchbook heroes. And I like putting, there is a little bit of a foot kind of, that does kind of push up a little bit. The shape kind of pushes up. This one it doesn't. But I like putting a little bit of a shadow so it looks like she's standing on something. All right. So we're going to go ahead and draw from our boot camp book. Here's our boot camp book. Notice gesture drawing and really seeing the form or the structure, how things are constructed. Sheldon Bornstein, he actually works at Disney, helped a lot of Disney artists study anatomy and technique, making lines. He always believed in California cool. You can see these shapes and examples. We're going to be drawing, and even drawing these sacks, which are really cool. Let's practice. I should have put a construction, put a Post-it. Was that it? There was one, a couple of drawings in it. It was somewhere in the beginning. Yeah, there it is. This is the one. So I really like these forms here. Really broken it down to the three parts that I talk about: the head, the torso, and the pelvis. And then you can see the body kind of just kind of goes there. These are really good. We'll start off with this one. Really simple, actually. This is very simple shapes. Just watch the angles. And then we're going to go into the one that's a little more advanced. This one up here. We'll draw both of these. And then we'll move on. All right. And that'll take us to the 9 o'clock hour. Here we go. We're going to draw these. We'll draw these pretty quickly. All right. I'll draw them right in here. That looks good. Right about there. Okay. So I'm going to see this as one piece, and this is the pelvis right here is where the anatomic middle is. So I can see from the top of the head to the pelvis, that should be one, and then below that, that's another one. So the distance from here, this is the middle, right in there. That's the middle. So from here to here, and then here to here, the legs. All right. So I can actually sketch it in like this. There's the top half, and then the bottom half. See, we're seeing the big shapes like this number 8. So the top and the bottom should be about the same. Right in there, just like that. Now this 8 shape here. First thing I'm going to do is get that pelvis. The pelvis is coming forward at this angle right in here, like this, right in the middle, like that. And it's not a square, it's a rectangle. And it does taper slightly, taper in right in there like that. There's the pelvis. And then here's the torso. Draw the torso in. Torso comes in right in there, comes forward and then back. And I'm actually drawing it bigger. So I'm going to actually draw it bigger here. I'm going to have to extend my, and this is just a guide to get me started. This is just the guide to get me started. So I'm going to have to make it the bottom bigger by this much, by the head, because the head's going to go right on top, right in here, right there. Right there. Here's the head. Also tapers Here's the head, and there's a little bit of an attachment. There's a little bit of a line that attaches the head to the torso. That looks good. And we know this is the anatomic middle. So we have to take this measurement here and bring that down. So I'm gonna have to zoom out to get the legs in. So here's our head, here's a torso, here's the pelvis. There's that. Take that measurement, bring it down to here. That's where our feet are gonna go. The upper thigh going back from here, back at that curve, and then the back leg curving out like that down to the triangular feet. Triangular feet down there. There we go. That's it. We're to add hands. Add hands and other stuff to it. That's it. Want to shade it in? You can shade it in. But we're going to get to our next the next one. The next one's more challenging. This one's easier because it was a side view. These are it's a side view. This one is a 3/4 view. The next one is those 3/4 views that make it more challenging, and it's form too. So it's not just shapes. These are shapes. The next level is form. So let's get to that next one. Let's do this up here. This one, that one. So this one's going to be a little more challenging. Let me turn my paper. So we're working with a nice clean piece. I'm going to block it in. I've got my top half. Bring that up. Top half. And then my bottom half. There's my 8 again. And just really quickly so I can block things in. And there's my 8. Here's my torso. I'm going to get this angle. I mean, the pelvis. The pelvis, and this is a good cube. This is a good cube. So I have this angle this way, and then this way, and then this way. I've talked about drawing cubes. If you watch the video on drawing forms and drawing the cube, there should be a video, but I don't have it. But you can see all these angles kind of going in that same relative direction. This angle actually drops here. So from here, it drops down. It actually drops down or goes up. So if you're going from left to right, it goes up. And then here, this angle there. There's really just 3 angles. And those are the 3. And you can see this letter W, right? We have the little legs of the W. That's one angle. And then the bottom of the W is the other 2 angles. Now we need to echo the other 2 angles just as well. So we'll start with the smaller one, this side right here, that same angle. Want to put it up here and close that off. Should be that same angle. And then this angle here, that's kind of like coming down. Put it there. It's not straight across. It does come down slightly. Can't see the top of the head. Can't get that second hand right. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that second hand was a tough one. I can go back to it. Let me see, where's that? Where's our Casper or Wendy? Oh, there she is. Well, we'll go back to it. I'll try it again. So after this one, we'll go back to that second hand. Salud. All right, let's move it up. There we go. So now this angle here is that same angle there. And then this angle here is the same angle there. There's our cube. And this is the pelvis. And again, I'm drawing a little bigger than I think. I'd have to put the head up on top and then make the legs a little longer again. Just watch the angles. And it's good cube practice, drawing the cubes. All right, I'll give it a little break and then go on to the next cube. All right, here we go. All right, 20 people hanging out. I got to get my lessons in. So this is moving forward, and then the pelvis is moving forward, and then the torso is moving back. So we almost have to imagine this torso kind of, this pelvis going forward, and then it kind of bending back like this at this angle here. And there's the top. Like that. So we'll start off with this square, kind of like that. So this is the front, and this is the front. This part right here. Actually, let me see. Should I color it? So yeah, I'll shade it. This part, this part right here, I'm going to shade it dark because it's actually going away from us, and it's in a darker spot. This is the front right here. This part that I just shaded, that's the front, and then this is the front up here, but it's facing up. So it's going to be hitting the light. It's going to be hitting it. This is another way to make actually a cube. So I have my angles here. I have my 3 angles, actually 2 angles. The angles going up and the angles going across. The only angle that's missing is the angle that's coming down, this angle. Now that's the 3rd angle there. So this is the 3rd angle. So now what I'm going to do is use that angle, bring it here as well, and bring it here as well. But it does taper. It's kind of going in. This one's a little more steep because of perspective. But they should kind of be going in that same direction, those 3. Right, from that rectangle. I'm going to close it off. See this, now these 3 echo. This one, this first one, this echoes here, and then echoes here again. Those 3 should kind of be going in that same direction. 1, 2, 3. And then we've got the top going in this direction, almost straight across. 1, 2, and then 3. Like that, going back. And it goes up slightly. Here's the bottom. And here's that side. And then the head. Bring it down slightly. Head is almost straight up and down. I'm way off from my 8, but I know now that I have this, that the body is the bottom is going to go down to here. Wait, actually lower. I'll have to zoom out to get the legs in, but we'll focus on the top half, breaking it into parts. All right, now the angle, I would probably just bring it down, and there we go. Just bring it slightly down. And just show the bottom just slightly. The bottom's not shown too much. This is almost at eye level here. The torso's going forward. Shade all the side as it goes back. There it is. There's the head, the pelvis, and the torso. The torso and the pelvis. There we go. And there's like a rubber band. Actually, it's the vertebrae. It kind of goes behind there like that. All right, let's add the legs. Let's zoom out. Legs are almost like parentheses, but let's get the bottom. Let's see what we're aiming for. So we got this size here, the height. Bring that down. Make sure that the legs are the same height. There, down to here. See, that's where I got that line there. I'm going to actually use that first, a little bit smaller, first oval as the top 2 legs, and then the bottom legs down here as they swoop out here. As it swoops out, right in there. There's 1 foot. It swoops. It's triangular shape. And then this other foot. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. There it is. And there's a slight curve to it. There's like an S curve. Goes in, then out, and then down. And then we just do the parentheses for the the upper thighs. There's one here and one here, kind of parentheses. There we go. And if I were to put hands in, I'll put hands in like that and probably put a triangle just to keep with the theme. Like that. Let's put the other arm. Let's do the other way. And then triangle like that. Like, I don't know. Why are your hands up? I don't know. There you go. Added some arms. Make sure he's standing. Sweet. There it is. Ta-ta-ta. All right, all right. All right, we're gonna jump to our requests. Let's take a look at our drawings here. We got over here. Oh, the next one's gonna be a challenge. The next one we are, oh, wait a minute. We'll take a little break. We've got the we got the jackalope. We got the jackalope. I got this jackalope here. Zoom out. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it even says Jackalope. Carolina Jackalope. And there was a TV show that always had a jackalope. Was it one of those funniest home videos? Back in the 80s, they had a jackalope all the time. All right, let me share my screen and then we're going to break it down. It should be, this one should be, it looks the shading and it's a 3/4 view. But there it goes. There's our jackalope. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. All right, here we go. Let's break it down. All right, here we go. Annotation tools. All right, so we've got our head. Make sure it's a perfect circle there. And this is we're using for our proportion. So there's the circle for the head. You can see the ears a little bit bigger than the head. So the ears are bigger than the head. We're using that relationship. So here's the head, here's the ears. And then if we go on top of that, you can actually see these horns are about 3 times as long. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 times as big as the head. And that's going from here out that way. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Here's this 1 for the head, 2 for the torso, and then a little more than 3, more than 1 for the bottom pelvis or this bottom area. That'd be 1, and I would say in the halves. Yeah, 1 and a half. Wish I could copy paste. Let me see. Try it. Copy paste. No, I tried it before. It doesn't work. I can't copy paste these shapes. I'd have to try to match it again. Let's see. Somebody getting a head start on it. That's great. Looks like some of you drawn. All right, here we go. There is. There's a head. There's 1, 2. And then the body would be 3. And it's, you can see it's 3.5. All right. We'll just jump into it. Let's jump into it. Let me put it in the chat. Copy. Put it in the chat. Yeah, the box figure is really helpful. I mean, we've drawn it before. Oh, let me put it to everyone. There we go. Yeah, it is helpful. There we go. All right. Good night. You're welcome, Aviva. Oh, great class. Great. Good night. Thank you for a great class. I can't get that second hand. Let's get that second hand before we jump onto that jackalope. That's right. Okay, let's draw that second hand one more time. And some of you maybe want to take a break, but here we go. Did I stop sharing? Here we go. There we go. Let's get that hand one more time. Let's give it another try. If at first you don't succeed, you try again. Keep going till you get it. So here we go. So let's see. Let's zoom in. I'm going to draw this hand over here. So you basically, I do see this, the shape, this overall shape of the hand. You want to see it as one, right? There's our hand right here. There's our hand. There's our one. And then from here, we start breaking it up into parts. I do see this other, these two fingers here together, like right about there. Those two fingers, right? Those two fingers are another oval right in there together. And then this finger that comes out here is right coming out, kind of at that angle there. And then there's a little space for that palm. And then the thumb comes out. And the thumb comes out, curves, and kind of go like that. Almost like the letter D if I were to continue it there. And then it curves the palm part like that. Those are the parts. That's it. Those are the parts. Look at the phone. And then we'll get to the jackalope. Freedom of expression. 5,000 steps. I need another 500. 5,500. All right, let's finish up this hand then. All right, so here we go. This comes to a point. And it's not clear. The picture's not clear. So, I mean, I don't know how this actually should be one point there. And then these two fingers here, there's a little bit of a curve. It's not just an oval. They do kind of like band. There's a little bit of a band to them, a little bit of a band. See, that kind of helps, that band right in there. There's that finger there. And then this finger is behind, so it kind of loops up and bends right in there like that. And as I'm drawing this, I know it tapers out. It tapers out, so it's tapering out. And then, yeah, the little half. That, there we go. It goes inside that shirt or blouse. That's a really good hand. There you go. That should help. Hopefully. Maybe round that finger out a little bit. Yeah, these fingers look good. Ta-da! Hopefully that helps. If that person's still here, who was that? Let me see. Somebody was having trouble with the hands. All right, let's get going to the jackalope. Let's draw the jackalope. We're going to draw the jackalope pretty quick. We're going to spend a little more time on the other one, on the Halloween, or actually pumpkin still life. Pumpkin still life. That's what it is. Pumpkin still life. Let me get a good. I've got this paper that I've had underneath. I'll get one that's not so wrinkled. Or yeah, let me get a fresh sheet of paper. There we go. So let me put that on here. Let me zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Did I forget already? No, I remember the head, and then the antlers were 3 times as big. So we're gonna get the head in here. Let's get the head. I'm gonna do it pretty quickly. I'm gonna do it really quickly, right? So if you can stay, if you can, there we go. There's our jackalope. There we go. Here's the head. Here's the body, right? And the torso. And then our snowman here. And this one's a little bigger, right? It was a little bigger. It was like 1.5, or yeah, 1.5. So I'm going to say it's about that big. I'm going to say it's right there. All right. So there's our jackalope. Our ears were right about there. And they were a little bit bigger than the head, right? From what I remember. ears a little bigger than the head, right about there. And then the antlers coming up. I'm just kind of blocking it in. They're going to kind of go in there in that direction. I'm getting that feel right in there. And that's it. That's it. That's a really quick blocking in, of the, let me just move my camera up. There we go. Really quick blocking in of this jackalope rabbit. All right, let's block in some more medium-sized shapes. These are the big shapes. And this is going to be the head. The arms are going to be in here, and the arms actually come down like this pear or upside down egg shape, and they kind of come in together like this. So I kind of see this shape here like this. Oh, somebody said they wanted skulls. Well, we'll get to the skulls maybe next week. We're going to do one more drawing after this. And then we've got this pear shape, this whole pear. This is like an upside down pear. And then here, the whole body's like another pear. So you got that top circle and then the bottom circle attaching itself like that. There we go. That looks good. And then the feet down here, we've got a couple of ovals, one oval, then another oval right about there, overlapping. It's got overlapping. And then the tail. There's our jackalope. All right, submit pictures, submit pictures. The more pictures we have, then we can say, hey, we can vote on them. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to just go ahead and do the head. I'm just going to do the head first. I already got my body. I kind of like the way it is. It looks all really good. The eye is going to be right about there. Right, the head's going to be right about there. The body's going to attach itself. I'm going to attach it, attach. Let me zoom in on the head and let's just focus on the head. Oh, there we go. There he is. All right. So if we break the circle in half and then it's half again, you can see I put it right on that part right there. Right. So, and the eye, we got to make sure the eye is right. If the eye is right, everything else doesn't matter. No, it's an important part. So it's a circle shape. Let me get that circle shape. Right. I got my circle shape as round as I can get it. And then the bottom half, I'm going to darken it. So I got my highlight. Now from the circle shape, we're going to make it more of an almond shape. So we're going to put a little bit of a almond shape or this lemon kind of shape. We got one little point on one side and another point on the other side, but it's so small it's not really making a big difference. But they do kind of goes like into almond shape. There's a space around it. See, I'm putting a circle around it because and this is also actually coming out like a lemon to a little bit of a point here. That's where the white of this jackalope eye is, the white part. And then kind of like a lemon. And then here, forward for the nose. The nose is like a little Y shape. Get that little Y shape. One side a little bit longer because it and it's right on that middle. This because it's closer. So this side of that Y is a little bit closer. It comes in like that. Put a little bit of curve on it. There. So you've got this angle here, and then now the other cheek kind of comes up and around, and then the mouth opens up right in there. Now you can see how that drawing that circle first and then breaking it down where everything kind of goes. You can kind of see where on this side of the circle, we just cut it in. And then here we can cut that chin in and then attach it to the body right there. And he's got a lot of texture. He's got a lot of texture. So it's more than just shading. There's a texture to this whole rabbit, which we'll be doing. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty darn good. It's just the shading that we'll need to do. That actually will take a little longer. All right, we've got, let's get the antlers in here because they're in the front. You got to get the antlers in the front. So there's like this U shape right in here. These two antlers right in there. There's 1, 2. That little U shape, and it's attached right to the top of that head. And I've got, let's zoom out here. Yeah, focus on these antlers. Now I can see right to the middle, right in here, this elbow of this, if it was an arm, it kind of almost goes out straight to there. And it goes to a point. Like that. Goes to a point. And you have to mind the thickness of this, the thickness of this, because it gets thinner as it goes up. So as it goes up, there's a little bit of a bend here. As it goes up, it's a little bit thinner. As it keeps going up, there's this other section right in here. Like that. You can kind of see the direction. So this is one direction, 2 directions, and then the 3rd direction up there. Oops, let's zoom out there and move it down. There's 3 directions. Yeah, 1 direction broke up. Now we have 3 directions. Here we go. I'll be here all night. It just might seem like it. All right. And then this actually curves out a little bit further. I'm following that. Let's zoom out some more. So it should be about head 3 times this head. Here we go. 1, 1, 2, and 3. It should be coming up to there. Really pushing it. And here it should be thinner. These
Ran out of space.
yeah.
1, 2, 2.5.
2.5. That's okay. That's close enough. Sometimes you got to squeeze it in. Sometimes it's better to make it go off the page, but this is you probably want to squeeze it in. And here the antlers are a little bit thinner as it comes down and it curves. And then it curves onto that. There we go. That looks good. Now we can put the ears in. Yeah, because the ears are behind this one antler. That's one antler. I'll put the ears in and then do the other antler. So this ear is an oval. I can see this as an oval. Let's looking at this as a 1 ear now. Here, in this way it attaches itself right in there, right under that antler, right onto the head. Bring that out and give this shape. And I start off with that circle, but now I'm kind of like bringing this out this way. And here's that ear. Wow. I got stretched. I'm getting a little dizzy. Sitting down too long, I think. 9 o'clock. There we go. That helped. Ooh.
What is he, a rabbit with the antler?
Yeah, he's a mythical creature, a jackalope they call it. All right, so there's the ear, 1 ear, and then the other ear is actually complex. It's two kind of like 2 ovals. So you have this 1 oval, and then you have another oval. If you were to break it into like 2 parts, let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. It's got this 1 oval here, and then another oval that way. So it's kind of like 2 parts. So now I can just put those 2 parts together, and it kind of like comes down like that. And it should taper. It should be thinner at the top, and then as it comes down, it would be wider. Lighter. There we go. And then this is the back of the ear. And this is all dark. I'm just shading it in, and then you can add texture on top of that. And it actually goes darker as it goes down here. And then this is the inside of the ear. So there's a little bit of a line there for the inside of the ear. And I've already started kind of doing shading. There's other lines and stuff, but I'm just keep it simple. Yeah, there we go, just like that, the inside of the ear. Let me point it out a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of a point out. All right, let's do the other antler. Let's finish this up. Okay, so I see two parts of this antler. Next, actually, I can see this antler here, this part, and it echoes on this side. So just kind of see this, and then I see this here. So it's kind of like symmetrical, and then it points out. Right, it points out there. So let's see how it relates to there. I'm making it a little bit smaller. That's all right. And then it goes up and curves out that way. And I'm sketching it first, kind of get it where it's going to be. Kind of sketch it. Let's see, I have it sketched. And then now I can draw on top of that sketch. You want to sketch first and then draw on top of that. So here we go. This goes up, 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 and then it branches off a little bit. And then it goes up onto this drawing. There we go. And then here, and this is where it kind of goes out as a Y. Bring it back down, maybe close this up a little bit. You got to close that up. Bring it down. Attach that. And there's that. We're going to do this one part that kind of goes forward and up in that space. And then there's another one that's behind it. There's another one that's behind. So let's go back here. Another little antler that's behind in there like that. Now with the shading, the antlers are pretty light. They're a little bit dark at the tips, and then they come kind of fade out. There's a little bit like a gradient right at the tips. Some of these tips are all kind of actually dark, and then they fade out this way. So I'm doing that right now, fading out the tips. I like that tips are burnt. So I'm doing the shading now, and then bring that down. I can actually probably shade the rabbit here. Let me clean up the nose. This part. My other eraser here. Just clean that up. There it goes. And then the shading and texture, I'm gonna mostly just shade it. I'm not gonna talk about texture too much. You want to get the shading first, and then the texture comes in after.
Can you lower the camera, Hilario?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just shading. You'll get texture afterwards. Here, it's kind of like a top mustache. There's like, or the bottom half. This I'm going to shade up to here and then down there. See that part? So there's that, and I'm going to shade all this right in here up to that part. And if you can shade and try to get that, texture, that'd be great. This is really good where it's like in the middle of both, where you're shading, and it's just not as smooth as it could be. Because you can shade it smooth and then put the texture on top. You can always put the texture on top. Once you have that, then I can like put the texture like on top, just like this while I'm adding the texture now. Adding the texture, just a little bit, like a little bit of space as I go over with my shading. It's just like leaving little gaps, for texture. Go a little bit darker. That keeps that light of the eye. And then down this way as I bring that texture down, making it furry, and even down here, down at the neck. And then out this whole part of the chest, this arm. You get the texture great. If you don't, it's okay. That just comes next. Now, the only part that really needs to be drawn are those hands, and they're really just two parts. They're really just two parts. It's really just actually the hands and then the arms. So the hands, here's one hand, another hand. You see, we got that other hand, and then it's just attached. It's just attached like that. Just attached. And it does taper slightly. It does taper slightly. There's little claw fingers, which I'm just drawing in really quickly. Then I'm going to shade all this in and bring it all up. Oh, and it's darker on the edges. It's actually lighter because it's rounded. It's rounded, so I kind of went a little dark on it. That's okay. I'm just going to blend it all out with the, there we go, with the texture, with that hair texture. And all my sketching gets, I don't have to erase it. It's all being sketched behind all my sketching. So I'm shading over it. Okay. And even the outside, try to keep it as a furry. You can actually, little fur as it comes, the little fur comes out. A little more on this side. It's getting there. Really light textures in here. Just put them in here, see, real quick. A little light texture in there, softening it up, making it rounded. Softening all this up right in here. See, and just as I shade, I'm keeping my spacing. All right. There's a little bit of reflected light in here, so it goes darker as it goes inside. And then there's the line, and then there's the tail. Kind of comes out with texture on it. Going out. And then there's light at the bottom. It's got a cottontail, like there's a light at the bottom. And here we go. Same thing with the feet. The top part are dark, and then the bottom is light. And do this foot first. It's interesting. It's got some light going over it at the top. Some light, some white fur. The way they've actually shaded it. So I would actually probably get an eraser and kind of maybe put like open it up. Almost do like little, like, yeah, like that. See, like little W's at the top. And there's one foot. And then here's the other foot. The lucky rabbit's foot. If it's so lucky, can't be so lucky. The rabbit had 4 of them. And that's it. That looks pretty good. I with the shading and stuff. And that's the challenging part, the shading, the texture, the 3/4 view. Hopefully you got it. Yeah, because that's a challenge, getting that 3/4 view and getting that. Some stuff I didn't really explain. I just did it. I just did it. Just do it. Just do it. That's funny. I was the guy who this week, the guy who designed, or actually he came up with "Just Do It" for Nike. He passed away. The guy who came up with that slogan passed away this week. And he,
How old?
how old? I don't know. I don't know how old
That
he was.
sounds like it was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was in the 80s or 90s, somewhere in there. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Just do it slogan.
This is the latest from the Wall Street Journal. If you want to skip to the next article, just say skip.
Dan Whedon, who came up with Nike's Just
Dan
Do It
Whedon.
tagline, Guys, one thing Dan Whedon didn't want to do as a young man was to follow his father into the advertising.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because where he got it from was
Mr. Whedon,
there was somebody who they were gonna he was a death sentence.
in the mid-1960s, he made the
Huh?
There was a guy who was in a death sentence. He had a death sentence, and he said, "Well, just go ahead and pull it, or just do it," you know. And that's where
Oh.
he got the idea of just do it.
Wow. How many
Yeah.
million did he make from that
Oh,
commercial?
A lot. Yeah, Whedon, Portland, Oregon,
In a small company.
Nike.
It was a perfect.
All right, there's our jackalope.
What's his name?
Whedon.
Just rabbits.
Oh, this is a jackalope.
Jackalope. Oh,
Yes, Jack.
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 Instead of jack-o'-lantern, jackalope. Okay.
Yeah, jackalope. All right, let's one more drawing. I think we're gonna call it a night. We're gonna do that. This one's actually a still life. This one's actually a really interesting one.
Can you bring it up a little higher so I can see the leg? Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
Oh, and Eladio, before you leave for the night, would you put the snail picture back up? I don't think it got on the recording because you started the recording a bit late.
Okay, yeah, I did. I don't know. Are these snails?
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Oh, and there's the meeting information. I'll put this up. Hopefully, yeah, with that information, people can get in. We got it now. All right, let's do this. This is actually really neat little drawing here. It's actually a painting.
I was able to go to the message to get your link.
Oh, great. All right, so we're going to be drawing this. This is still life, the pumpkin in it, and some other little shrubbery. We can actually get into the shading and all that stuff, and maybe, I don't know, we'll see how far you want to push it. But we'll do this one. All right, so first things first, let's break the big whole thing into smaller parts. So the big part is this whole painting in itself. It's almost square. It's a little bit wider than a square. So let's do this. Here we go. We're going to take this one on. I don't know if she said she was going to be here. Where is she? No, I don't think she's here. Yeah, somebody had said no more cartoons. So here we go. Yeah, she's not coming back, I think. It's all good. Can't please everybody. So here's my square. You can see it. And like I said, you can see there it is. It's a little wider than a square. So if we were to do it, actually way out here is a square, or actually bring my square out there. This helps because this is going to find my center. So there's my center right there. That's my center. So let me put a center line right there. Right here, center down, right there. And you can see the way they composed this drawing, the composition, all this stuff is on the right. This glass here they're using the thirds. So that's artists use it's the rule of thirds. And that's where this kind of is. On this half, and it's balanced out with this, and this balanced out with your eye kind of pointing out this way. And look at this side has nothing just about, except for this one right here. See, so they really think about composition when they're putting all this together as an artist. And let's bring out some more squares here. Let's see, I think, and this, look at the height and the width. There's our square. I wish I could copy paste these squares. There's a 1 and there's 2. It's a little bit more than a 1 by 2. And it's got a little bit of an angle to it. So you do see that oval on the top and the oval on the bottom. Right, it's got that bottom oval. All right. And then we've got, what else have we got? We've got the pumpkin. It's just pretty much an oval shape. It's got little dents in it and little, but it's pretty much an oval shape. You can see that oval shape. And looking at it, there's that oval shape right in there. So put it in there. So you can see that oval shape. And then from there, you start carving it out, so to speak. You get that oval in, and then you can start carving it out. And let me show you the carving I would do. There's this carve right in there, about an angle there. You can see this angle here too as well. And then this angle here too as well. That one at the bottom. Right, so that kind of helps. And then here's this angle, and here's another angle there. All right. And then these are all just like circle shapes. These are all just circle shapes. These, I wouldn't worry about, you know, there we go. 1, 2, 3. This one's bigger. 4, 5. And these are more like oval shapes. And then this is more of an oval at an angle. And an oval as well as at an angle. That way. All right, that's a good breakdown. Oh, another couple other things to look for. Just like the antelopes, there's that angle here, that angle here. There's a break in it. There's that angle probably broken down into 2. It's probably broken down into 3, but it's pretty much like that. And this one here, you can see the direction kind of there, but this is also broken down into like 3, maybe, well, 4, but you can get that like that. There we go. A little bit of a curve in there. That's it. Those are the ones. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So pretty simple composition, pretty simple shapes. The complexity, the hard part is the all right, you're welcome, Meadow. Jackrabbit, cantaloupe, jackalope. That's it. Love the chat. Yeah. Oh, let's see one more thing. One more break in here. As we break this into, let's see, make this smaller. Oh yeah, it's going perfect. Right in there. Same above, same below. We need the center line. Look at that center line. This is going to help. This one right here. The center line, actually, let me show it again. You can see these little white spots show the middle. That's the middle right there. So now if I line that up, that's going to help right there. That's it. So now that breaks it into fourths. So here we go. So now we have quadrants. There you go. So you have this quadrant, and that quadrant, and it's broken down into fourths. And this is probably a third right in here. All right, so let's do this. This is going to be nice. We'll spend the last half hour on this, and then we'll get going. Yeah, this one's going to be a bit. This is going to take a while.
Do it horizontally or vertical?
It's horizontally, it's a little wider. Horizontally, it's slightly wider. Let me find a blank page. You know, I'm going to have this new sketchbook. That'll be my new drawing in this new sketchbook. A brand new sketchbook right here. Use this.
Yeah, I just got a brand new one today too.
Nice. All right, we're gonna break it in with this sketchbook here. Here we go. Brand new sketchbook. 75 sheets. There we go. This can tear out.
75 sheet.
75, yeah, 75 sheets.
Me
They're pretty
too. For
acid.
$8. Is it too much?
I don't know. $8 is good. $8 is good. It's all right.
Stable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Staples will get you good prices. All right, here we go. So it's here we can break it down into fourths. Here's my half. And then here's my half that way. So I'm getting my whole sheet. I turned my paper sideways, breaking it in half and in half again, and just block everything in. And then I've got my my vase, my vase. And it's kind of like a square right in there. It's kind of like a square right in there. And then another square right below it. It's actually, there we go. To right about there. Let's see. That feels right about right. Make it a little bit thinner. So get this axis line in there too, I guess.
No te veo, Hilario.
See me? Oh man. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Thank you. No me ves.
Thank you.
Nice. You're welcome. And I got my spotlight too. All right. So what I did was I broke it in half here. And then I broke it in half there, my paper.
Sorry
And-
to interrupt, Hilario.
Alright.
Did you drop the picture in the?
In the chat? No, I guess I
In
did
the-
not. It's getting late, huh? Here, let me
It's
do that.
okay.
Thank you. It's not a problem. There we go. In the chat.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So we've broken our paper in half again into quadrants. And then we have our and then, you know, our vase, our vase. And if we were to, cut off parts to the side, we cut off parts of the side. Parts of the side. Enough parts of the side. It's a little bit wider than a square. But we're going to extend it. We can extend it. We can use our artistic license. So there's the vase pretty much in that spot. And this is the emphasis. When you're learning about the principles of art, this is the emphasis. Everything supports this watermelon, this pumpkin. Oh man, this pumpkin right in here. And notice how it overlaps that vase right in there. This is the main thing for this whole painting. So there's one there. We're going to put in, there's one antelope right there. Another one kind of coming out this way. From here, actually goes up and then out. Right in there. Kind of going in that direction. Right in there. And I'm just doing this one swoop. And then this one up in that direction, fits right about there. And then one more right in here, right about there. And the last thing is the table that's behind everything. I'm going to put a line right in here as it actually kind of goes right above that. I'm going to bring it up slightly. Right below the top of that. It goes straight out. It does curve out at the end, right about here, but I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to stretch my canvas. Change the format slightly. So you want to bring this and then imagine it as it goes through. If you want, you can draw it through. Because you don't want it higher or lower. It should continue. It's the table that's behind you. And you actually do see it behind in the vase and the base a little bit. Comes out and then it curves down. But yeah, there's a little bit of curve at the end. But it's mostly straight. And then it curves down. But I'm moving that whole curve a little further out. Because I'm changing the format slightly. There we go. Erase that line, erase. And that's it. That's it. We're done. No. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the pumpkin. I'm going to really focus on this pumpkin and then everything else. And then we'll do the vase. So we'll just go from there. All right. So this is a form. This is a form. It's like a torus. So there's really like this oval shape at the top. I'm going to sketch it in. You don't have to, but this oval shape really does help. If you can see that oval shape there. Pumpkin, again, we got our angles. Remember, we're cutting this angle here. There's another angle here, and then it kind of curves. I did cut that. Curves out this way. And there's a little bit of a bump in here, a bump in there. See, I'm actually carving this pumpkin in there. But once you carve a pumpkin, it's a jack-o'-lantern. Not a pumpkin anymore. Took me a while to figure that one out. Like, what? Pumpkin, it's a jack-o'-lantern. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna here we go. Got my oval in there, getting the outside shape now. I've got my outside shape. I'm gonna cut this in a little bit in here. I'm gonna cut this straight out. There we go. And I can see two big parts right in here. There's one part right in here. And then there's another part over here, kind of this way. And those parts are actually broken in half as well. But I'm seeing the big parts. Another part right in here. Now, if we try to get it realistic, this is going to be, it is doable. It's going to be, it will be here all night. But, yeah. So we can aim for it. It's good, something good to aim for. And then this one goes out here. We're going to break this one in half on that side. And this one is, there's a little bit of a wrinkle in the middle as well. And then on this one too, there's one in the middle of that form. And that's it. See, I saw these big forms and then I saw the smaller ones, parts and whole, theme of the night. All right, so there's our and as it comes out, it echoes the outside. See how it echoes, and then here, this is the middle, and then here it crosses over and echoes, starts echoing that way. All right, let's get that stem in there. Let's get that stem. And a slight curve to it. Might be exaggerating. Just a slight curve. Get that thickness right in there. Let me zoom in. Oh, I should have zoomed in for the whole thing while we were doing that pumpkin part. Sorry. In the video, when I edit it, I can actually probably do that. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that takes time. All right, so there is like a crease in the middle. And if I were to shade it, I would shade everything except for that little tip on this right side. The right side, there's a little bit of light hitting it from the right. And the light, yeah, there's like a window on the right. You can actually see it in the reflections and see it here. So I'm keeping a little bit of that light. And then here it curves in, a little overlapping. I'm going to go ahead and here you can see it curve out. This part of the curve that I did for that oval shape at the top. A little bump in and then it bumps out. You can draw anything you see, you really can. Now the thing as far as accuracy and things as far as that comes with time, and sometimes you don't want it to be perfect. You know, you can spend time on making it perfect or exact, but it does take more time, more effort. And we can actually try to get all the values right and get it to really, I mean, that it's doable. But again, then that takes us back to how we started tonight. What's your purpose? What are you trying to do? If you're trying to make it exactly, well, okay, that's a good goal, something to shoot for. But, you know, you're doing what my sister did. You know, you're focusing on something different. You know, if you like for her, my poor sister, I had her, you know, try to solve a problem by drawing, right? Say, but she spent her whole time trying to draw the person. You know, George Washington, it was a word problem, and George Washington was in it. So she spent all her time on the wrong thing. Because the purpose was to try to solve the problem. She could have done a stick figure of George Washington. You told me to draw. I'm like, yeah. And that's symbolism. That's a symbol. I mean, that's a symbol. We could draw the symbol where we can really observe and see how it's all put together.
But how has she turned out in the long run? Is she an artist now?
She is a teacher. She's actually teaching 3rd grade right now. She does art. She's very creative. She cooks. She does all kinds of stuff. She does a lot of stuff. She does some drawing with her kids and stuff. Yeah, she's 11 years younger than I am. Now the light does hit here, and the way the light hits the pumpkin, really neat. So that light part, and all this is in shadow right in here.
Eladio, there's a couple of highlights on the pumpkin. How do we really pull those out?
Yeah, so that's a good question. See, that's depending on how much detail and stuff we want to get into. All that's value. All that is just value. So yeah, we can try to pull those out. So you want to try to keep them and with pencil, you kind of almost have to exaggerate the values a little bit, because you don't have as much control unless you have the HBs, the other H pencils, to get all the values. So you usually just use like 5 values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade it into this whole dark area in here, 1 value, and I've got, yeah, there. And we'll try to get the highlights in there. It will. And see, now this is broken down into half as well, but I'm gonna shade all this 1 value in here. Right in there. Right down almost the middle. But I can still see there's a half of that side right there, because that curves. So that's 1 value. Now I'm going to push it a little bit more. I'm going to push it a little bit more. So our first 2 ovals in here, I'm going to darken that half just slightly, pushing it back slightly. And then over here as well, this half, pushing it slightly, a little darker. And really keeping those edges soft. Bring it up there. You can kind of see it, yeah, up that kind of like the letter E shape in there. And then here I'm just adding, I'm rounding it. I'm really rounding that. And actually down this middle here too, it goes a little bit darker. And what I'm doing is I'm making little circles, and as I come out here, actually I'm trying to keep those edges soft, It's really kind of like hard to explain, but I'm kind of like just doing it because I see it and I can do it. But I will get those highlights on the side, even if I have to go back with an eraser and add them in. And this is an HB pencil. Pushing that a little bit more, pushing this a little bit more, pushing this edge a little bit more. As I'm building up my darks, I can see it like here, I can see a little bit more. So it goes from dark, there's patterns, it's patterns of light and dark. So it goes dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, and then lighter. And then here on this other side of this pumpkin, I'm going to bring some of this dark over here on this side because it's pushing back. Here it goes back over. So some of this shade that's on here should be on this as the last of the that darkness. Bring it out. Try to keep the top. Let me soften that up right there a little bit. There's a really sharp edge right in there, right at that top. Yeah, push. I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit right in there. I'm gonna push it darker. That's it. All right. Now we'll try to keep, I'm going to try to keep the lights that are on this side. And then just shade this bottom half. Actually, let's do this. Bottom half right in there. I'm going around in this same echoing that oval shape at the top. It's this oval shape here. And then all this bottom half, I'm going to shade it just slightly and even out to here. I'm going to shade it really as light as I can get it, as light as I can get it. I'm going to just shade right in here, really, really light as I can go to get that value, the lightest, smoothest value I can get right in there. It's actually lighter than what's on I have on the left. And that's my light. And now I can just go slightly darker from here. I can bring that same value up right in here on this side. Bring that up. And then maybe bring some of that shade slightly down. Blend it out. Blend it out. It's the edge on the left is harder and it blends out on the right. If you try to get that, it's a little bit hard. It's your first time. Then here there's a little bit of a crease, pushing it in. Yeah, all this subtle stuff, it's really subtle. And it's definitely more advanced. Let's get shading this, bring some of this light and try to really bring it light in here. I'm closing this up, but staying away from the highlights. I'm going to push this one just slightly, just ever so slightly. I'm pushing it back. Values, and if you need to, yeah, with an eraser, right in here, should be dark right there, pushing that back. Now, one thing you could do, actually, let's see, is we can use paper, and we can bring some of these highlights back out. I would do this at the end. Bring some of these highlights back out. Probably with some scissors. Just slightly. There we go, like that. You actually can even cut it like this. Cut a little sliver open like this. You wouldn't have the control. Let's see. Curving out, curving in, curving in. Turn it this way. There we go. And then use your eraser on top of that. Make sure my eraser is clean. You can go in there and spot some of the bring out some of the highlights. And then push it back again. Try to keep that highlight. There we go. Nice sharp highlight in there. Yeah, because you can't have light without dark. And even though this is the light side, you kind of see that. And see up here how it's really light at the top. I'm going to push it down just a little bit, just by going over it really lightly. There. Yeah, it still has that sharp edge, but now it's pushed it back just slightly. And then in here, a little bit of a wrinkle. And then here, maybe push the shadow down a little bit more. It's just building it up and trying to keep the highlights. And it's easier if it, we work bigger, but this is it's a little small. I mean, you can see the size of my hand. And if we really focused on it, we can really work on that a little bit more. So now I'm going to push all this shading out at the top, a little bit darker. And then once we have the background shaded as well, that'll also help, you know, bring that out. But all this at the top now, I'm going to shade it just slightly. Really just shade all this stuff slightly. This pushes all this stuff back and really highlights the highlights more. It really emphasizes the highlights. There we go. I'm just shading all this stuff at the top a little bit more. There's our pumpkin. Not too shabby. There is a shadow under it. I'm going to bring out that shadow. That's pretty cool. There's a reflection. There's a reflection, and it's probably should have been a little bit longer. But there's just a reflection underneath. And then there's a shadow over that reflection. So there's two things happening right in there. They both come together right here in this almost like Pisces symbol. I'm going to bring it that shadow in there. See, all this shading and stuff is what takes time. And I don't know if we should, yeah, if you get all the shading, great. Or if you just do the drawing, that's fine. Because it's definitely more advanced. Spinner should be here. Yeah. Let's see, get that darkness on this side. And this is the darkest dark. This is the darkest of the whole. There's dark on this side, but like on this side, this dark and then this dark here. And this is almost pointing towards the pumpkin. I'm going to shade the whole thing just really lightly, just to get that light in there. Let me sharpen my pencil real quick, switch it out. I'm just going to nice and light, really light, keeping it a light, as light as I can. Shade just to get all this dark. Even all in here too, I can actually shade everything, really put a nice little shade of. I need to probably work my pencil down. So like on another piece of paper, bringing it down, pushing it really hard. Probably been using some of that hard push right in here. That's my darkest darks. My darkest darks are going to be right in here. Now I've got like a little edge and I can really quickly just shade everything. Let's draw the, I was going to shade everything, just like shade over everything. My pencil's not worked down yet. And you can see yeah, where it's getting smooth. And then it just, and I'm holding my pencil down at an angle like this and working it to get a nice smooth end. Yeah, there you go. Now I can feel it. See, now I can get this nice smooth shade. Look at that. So I wore my pencil down and now I can just really quickly. So start from the left. And the problem with this is though, this will actually shade in your lines.
Can you zoom out, Ilario?
Yeah, this will shade in your lines. So I'm doing it really light as I go around here, but this is gonna shade in your lines. It's almost like having pencil marks in your watercolor painting. You have to kind of get rid of your guidelines before you actually do this, especially when you're shading really light. So I'm gonna erase my guidelines. These guidelines. So we already have our pumpkin in there. And you can see, kind of see the highlights in there kind of come up. And as everything else goes dark, these highlights will definitely show up more. Erase all this. Even erase some of this. There we go. Now I'm just gonna be careful. You can actually put something over it so you don't lose your highlights. And then just shade. I'm gonna shade everything just really lightly. I know we're gonna need some light in here, probably exaggerate that light to, on the stem. That's sticking out. Oh, it's all right. I'm just gonna. I'm going as light as I can. And if you had a chamois, you can actually blend all this. I mean, see how I'm like blending all this, making it smoother. You can actually do that as well, but I'm trying to keep it as light as I can. And I just lost my edge. I lost the edge. Not as tight as I'd like, but if I had a chamois. All right, that was really light shade. I'm going to look at the end of the video again. This light takes a lot to do it. Yes. Yeah, this is it'll be up tomorrow. This video will be up tomorrow. Now I'm just using my finger. It's better to use a tissue. I know my hands are pretty dry and not oily, so I've washed them before. But that's the problem with this, because you can get some oils. I might still have oils, but oil. And then get a tissue, just blend it. And it's controversial. I didn't like my students using their fingers blending, because you want pencil control too. Helps with pencil control. And you're learning. There we go. Nice
Your
little-
pumpkin looks awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Looks great.
Thanks.
Looks so real.
Yes, it does.
Wanna eat it up.
All right, let's do this. So I'm going to go ahead and go and I'm going to work on this glass here. Let's draw it out. And this is a rendering, trying to get to a rendering. So really, it's not a drawing and not a cartoon, because these edges are there's no lines to it. It's an edge. Here you can see a line, but I'm going to get rid of that line because on this side is where it's dark. It's dark on this side. And it comes up right about there, and then it curves right in here. It curves. There's a curve, and here, this is a sharp corner, a sharp corner. So it curves into a sharp corner, then it goes up, and then at the top is an oval. The top is an oval, comes out on that side as well. Then it goes in. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. So the top oval, this is straight, sharp corner, curve. Bring that, and it does curve around. There's a slight curve. And this is probably right at eye level. Actually, the eye level is right above. Eye level is right above. So it should curve right in here too. Being aware of your eye level is really important. You're looking down at this. This is looking down. I'm looking at the top of this pumpkin. I'm seeing this. I'm looking at the top of this cap. The eye level's right about in here, I would say. All right, let's finish this up. So sharp corner right here, and then it curves out. And try to keep it the same here. So the distance here, try to keep that thickness the same. I'm looking at the other side as I'm drawing this line. Bring it straight down. And then curves up right there. There's my bottle. Whoops. I gotta zoom out. There it is. So there's my bottle. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than to have a frontal lobotomy. That's an old song. All right, so now here, this is a reflection. I drew the reflection, but it's actually darker in this area. So I'm pushing the shading slightly back here. I have that, I'm just matching that, drawing that line that I had. And then I'm just shading this whole area in here. And I already have that value there. I'm just pushing this back. And it actually kind of goes out. And there's a reflection of this bottle down here too. It's a little bit of a reflection of the bottle down. And you can see some of these curves here down on the reflection as well. Kind of putting them in slightly. There's this line that's in the middle, goes down the middle, and then it blends out. Just little pushes and pulls. And this is pencil control, seeing it and doing it. You know, and just kind of echo the top slightly and really soft. It should be really soft. I'm doing all these, when I'm shading like really tight circles to get that smooth shade as it comes down. And I'm seeing the values, the lights and the darks. There we go. Right in there. And the reflection of the bottle kind of fades out as it comes down. All right. I'm going to go ahead and draw the stuff inside the bottle and then shade it. All right. So first part I would want to draw is the top. Let's start from the top. It is open. You can't see the top of the bottle. So it's really just echoes that oval shape, but it's really slight right in there. You can almost have to have experience drawing these bottles or yeah, that oval shape. Then it goes there. And then we've got one little stem this way as it comes down here. There's one, a thick one here, two on this other side, and then three. This one comes across this way, and kind of there's like a letter A as it crosses over and up and out. Yeah, that's this one right here. That rebel stem. There we go. That's it. Yeah, if this is your goal, yeah, that's great. We talked about the zero, your goals and your purpose. If this is where you want to go, and I see how many people are still here, 11 people. Yeah, we have 11 people, so that's good. That are interested in going, actually 10. I'm one of the 11.
Good for you, Ladio.
But that 10 is good. 10 is a good number. Dedicated pupils, and we can push this further if you guys are here. You know, I got to see who's here, and if you're coming in every week, like I don't see who's here. Hades, Demi, Ellen, Priyanka is here, and then other names I don't recognize. I think we have some newbies or
Don't know. Christy?
and Jessica. Let me see. Yeah. See, because then we can practice, I think, pushing it a little further just with one drawing, with the shading and getting it into this area. And so Springer can come back. No, she can come in the second hour, the third hour. You don't have to be here for the first hour if you don't want to draw cartoons. All right, so I see the stem here now, and all this is really blended. All this is I see is one value. All this is one value in here. I see there's a little bit lights, but it's really close to just being one value. From here out this way, it's all just like one value. Right in there, just like that. And I'm blending, I'm softening this up. It's really dark here, but I'm softening it. These little value changes. As it comes up, I'm going to darken all this up in here too. That dark value right in there, just like that. that same value all the way up. There it is. Now the bottle has really strong highlights as well as the pumpkin. The highlights are, and I think I lost some of those highlights. So I'm gonna have to fight to get them back. It's easier just to paint on top, but we'll see. A really strong highlight on this side, which I will need to use my little cutout here. And I can actually squeeze and make it a little bit smaller and get a little part of it. They do have these already made. They do have some of them, or you can get a kneaded eraser. Another thing too, when you can cut your eraser too. Cut the eraser to get a sharper edge like that. Nice sharp edge. Sharpening your eraser. There it is. See, nice clean sharp edge, and then use that as well.
That's a nice trick.
Okay, so now there's a light side. I'm going to keep that light side of that stem. And just bring that same shade that I have here, that same value on this other side. There is a light part. I'll try to keep that light part, and then it goes a little bit darker. And I think it's a reflection of the pumpkin right in here. There's a reflection of the pumpkin that I see. So I see these different values. And I'm going to try to keep that stem. I'm going to try to keep that reflection of that pumpkin, but it goes darker here. This is darker. Right in there. There's like a little dirt or sand in here. So there's a little bit of a lump right in there. And all this is really soft and subtle. It's really soft and subtle. So you almost have to see it and just subtly fine motor control to just push, get that one shade in first, that one nice even shade, and then push it. I'm gonna push, actually the reflection is right in here. And now I'm going to push this whole little area right in here. I'm going to bring this up a little bit darker. So I'm building up my darks. I'm building them up, this whole area right here. And that's the reflection of that pumpkin right in there. And then there's a little bit of that dark, that stem goes darker in here. It's really interesting. I mean, I can't explain all the little intricacies that I just see in here. I'm just doing it, but it's pretty much like what we've done. I see the lines, and then I can see like there's a little ripple in here. There's a slight ripple of the light as it reflects and refracts what's inside. There's like a little bit of a ripple. I can try to get that as this it comes up, a little bit of a dark area there, and as it comes up, I'm going to push the shading on this side a little bit more. Right in here, there's a little bit of a dark. I'm just pushing it a little bit darker in here. And so you can build it up. You build up the shading. I have my lightest light. Now I can actually go darker in some areas. Maybe push this a little bit darker in here, just slightly darker right in here. Push this right in there, just slightly, and build up those darks. All right, I'm keeping that. I'm going to go a little bit darker right in here because of that. And it kind of fades into the background. And definitely right in here, it's dark, and actually probably can go in there and add a little bit of extra light. They do actually bring up the light just slightly. Right at edges, sometimes things are exaggerated. Things are exaggerated slightly. There's a little bit of a thickness in here. Then it goes into that light, which is not perfectly light because we do have shade in there. Get that thickness of that stem. And there's a band right in here. And then shade this line out. I'm going to shade this line out into the next stem. I'm going to shade actually all that even together as one piece. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. I feel like I'm doing surgery here. And that's kind of like, you know, that's what we're doing here. Actually, just imagine these are surgeon's hands right here. Could have been a surgeon. Right there, some of the fine tuning, fine touching. Then right in here, it actually goes darker and then it goes lighter. There's a pattern of light and dark. So it's actually like a mound right inside. And there's texture in here too. I can see the texture. I really want to try to capture that texture. But I'm going to go, I'm going to skip a little space for that reflected light or that bouncing light. And then get my dark in there. And then kind of like maybe just like try to get that little sand feel, I guess. Hard to get everything. But it kind of comes up like that. Bend that out. There's reflection here too. There's reflection of the table. It's amazing. There's a really nice little reflection of the table right in there. I'm not going to totally get it. And the darkest right in here, this is a really, actually, let me get it all shaded in first and then I'll get that dark in there. Try to keep that highlight right in here. A little bit of a highlight, but shade all the way to the end of that bottle. All right, so you can see how I shaded. There's the stem. There's the bottle all shaded right here. I'm gonna go even darker with a little bit like there's a core, it's not really, is it a core shadow? It's a core darkness because it's glass. So there's like a core darkness right in here and it kind of comes up and curves. When I bring it up, curve it around like that. There we go. Try to blend it all in like one shape. All this is one shape right in here. And then bring it in. One shape. There we go. That's it. Now I'm going to go darker. I'm going to go darker on this side of the stem, just like I did here. You can see that stem right there. That's darker. On this side, now I'm going to go just slightly darker, just like that. Yeah, on this left side, just a little bit darker of that stem inside. I'm going to have to bring that highlight out. And then maybe even exaggerate. You can actually right in there, that sharp. Right in there, there's this shape. The bottom is round and smooth. And then the top kind of comes down like that. That highlight. Then there's another highlight right in here. And there's a lot of detail here. It's a lot of little detail. There's a little highlight right in there. Try to keep it without outlining it. I kind of outlined it. Outlined it. Might have to go in there with my eraser to lighten it up a little bit more. And darken around it a little bit more too. Now I can actually go over this whole thing, kind of push this back. Because now I'm feeling it's a little light, but I can push it back. And as I shade over the whole thing, it kind of brings everything down just slightly. It kind of brings everything down slightly. Here, I can see this is too light. I'm going to shade over the whole thing like this. That brings that down just slightly, right? And it's in relative to the rest of it, it's still lighter. But the whole thing just brings it down, pushes it down just slightly. That whole shade right in there. I'm going to bring this darkness a little bit more. It should be a soft dark. There's that reflection of that pumpkin in there. And see, I'm just building it up. I'm looking back and forth in the picture, and I'm looking at my drawing and saying, okay, I need to push this value down, put what stands out. And this is all values. This is all the icing on the cake, the icing that I talk about. We hardly ever do. Because you can see why. I mean, the drawing is there, but now the icing is what makes it a little more like wow, the wow factor. But it just takes time, and now I'm going to push this darkness here a little bit more. I'm going to push this value just down a little further, pushing it more here, darker, right in there. I can see this darkness as it comes up and curves up in here too, right in there, and it goes right to the edge, so it's all solid one shape. There's another highlight up here. Try to shade around it, and if it was bigger it would be easier. We would draw it bigger, but I drew it this size, so I can't complain. Yes, I can. I can play the blame game.
Can you zoom out a little bit?
Oh, yes. I'll move it down.
Thank you.
So not really good to zoom out, because if I zoom out, then you can't see it.
Correct.
So yeah, it's moving it down as I inch along. And here the stem comes out. The stem actually gets lost. I mean, the color of the stem gets lost in here. It's not, we know it's there, but it all becomes like one piece. And there's a highlight there that I just lost. And then it goes up here, it goes darker on the top, just slightly. There's a lot of things happening, but I'm drawing too small to capture it all. I'm gonna just bring that same value up. Could be the same value all the way up on this stem, all the way up here. Ooh, it's 10:17. We're really going long today. There it goes. There's that stem, that little bend in it, right in there. That's good. There's that one stem done. And then we've got our, I lost. Did I draw? I don't think I drew the little leaves. They're like pods or something. All right, I didn't draw the pods. There's one right here. One underneath it. Actually, they're really touching, and there's no overlap. It's underneath, but it's not like it's in space. There's one right there, one right there. The other one right about here. This one's the biggest one, I think. It's a little bigger. There's a little bit of overlapping. Bring it over slightly over that stem right in there. There's one right there. One over here. One right about there. And then this other one over here. About there. What's great about still lifes is that, it doesn't have to be exact. I should zoom out. It doesn't have to be exact, and not like a face. And this will help when you get to faces, if you want to do shading on faces, stuff like that. Just looking back and forth, you can see my highlight there.
Good night. Someone
right,
from
good night.
Tennessee.
Huh?
Someone from Tennessee is leaving.
Oh, someone Tennessee. It's almost 1:30. Wow, damn me. All right.
Yeah, I'm falling asleep. That's why I said
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna watch the end of the video for this because this is something I really want to be able to achieve.
All
But right now I'm too tired to. I started. I'm like, I'm too tired, but I really want to be able to do
The
this.
video
or
will be
at
up
least
tomorrow. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, or at least to be able to do some, an approximation of it the first time and then
That's good. Yeah, I know
do it
this-
again.
Yeah, it's the first time we ever really. Yeah, because who suggested this picture? I think Alan suggested this one.
Oh no, I love that. I love this. This
Yeah.
is so good.
Yes. I'm pushing this darkness right in here. And pushing some of this darkness for that stem. it does get lost in there. I mean, it fades in and fades out because of the glass. So that's what I'm trying to capture in here as it fades in, fades out. And then here, this dark stem over here on this side. And I already actually shaded all this down, this area down. And I'm just pushing it a little further down back. Trying to keep that highlight. So I'm going to shade around it. Push that value back a little bit down. Shade all this even more. Pushing it back dark. And it comes to, try to erase or shade out. I'm shading out that edge, shading out the edges, because this is a rendering. We're actually creating a rendering. There's a difference. You have a sketch, which is really sketchy. Then you have a drawing, which is a drawing. You can see the lines. Then you have a rendering. A rendering is where you really almost photographic. Try to capture. I mean, I have a reflected light here, but that's shaded out right at that edge. I'm really pushing this edge a little bit darker. These edges right in here, especially this right side. On this right side, it's really dark, and it fades out as it comes up, fades out, and then it resumes darkness in here. Push all this back. I'm just keep pushing it. I'm not really pulling. There's a little bit of a ripple in here. I'm going to try to keep that light side and pushing this darkness back. See, now I brought that back. Right in there, I brought that back. That lightness back, and now here's too light. I'm going to push this lightness back as well. Push that. This goes darker in there. And, oh, I wish I could make it bigger. How funny. When you go from one thing to another, like from my iPad, I'm like, okay, for a second, I wanted to zoom in on this area right here so I can work on this spot.
Haven't you tried doing that with a real picture? Oh my God.
Yeah, you're maxing.
I've caught myself doing that before. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, it's just habits. It's just habits. You want something, your brain telling you, okay, make it bigger. And you're like, oh, it doesn't work that way.
That's right.
Yeah. So like all this stuff in here. There we go.
We're too spoiled, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, we are a little bit. I mean, spoiled because gosh, we live in amazing times.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we do. There we go. And I'm capturing some of the edges, some of the stuff, lights and darks, maybe push and pull a little bit more just to try to capture it. But there's really just like, really only like 3 values in here, plus the white highlight that I'm trying to keep, and then pushing everything back and forth. Pushing this back a little bit. See if I can bring that highlight out, especially if I shade everything else out back a little bit more. Right in here, if I shade the background just slightly. Just going back in my background.
What do you think that is hanging from the?
These little pots? They're
Yeah,
like
they're
seed pods. I don't know. They're like I've seen them before. They open up and inside there's like seeds, I believe. But I don't know what kind of flower that is. Or what kind
so
of,
it is a flower.
yeah, it
there's
is. I think it's a plant. Yeah, I don't know what kind it is. But yeah, you can see like this one that's on the ground. This one that's on the ground here, you can see that the top side of it, it's facing us. This side right here is facing us, and then here's the middle of that kind of pointing out right there. And it's some kind of, they're like little pods. They could be, and sometimes a lot of times they're symbolic of stuff. Seeds. Who knows what the artist maybe just liked it, or there is actual symbolism. And that should be lower. I don't know. It's getting late. But yeah, you can see it. You can see it. Oh yeah, look at it at that distance. Wow. And I would push the shading on the table a little bit more. It's really too light. Start building that up a little bit more.
Those seem to be called Chinese lantern plants.
Oh,
Oh, interesting.
that's cool. Pushing all this a little bit darker on the table. Working my way up. And if you have to put another sheet of paper so you don't smudge, that's always a problem. Shadow reflection. Here. I'm gonna start simplifying because it's already gonna be 10:30. I'm gonna start just cranking it out. Let's see if I can bring some of my highlights back up. This one in here, especially that one right there. I know I can probably get it just a little bit lighter. Over there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see that? Bam. Right here. Usually want to do this at the end because it'll get darker. It's really hard to keep whites white. Just ask any mother. Does the laundry. Yeah, and when you're painting, I mean, those colors, you want to start when you're mixing colors and you have a light color, you want to start off with the light color and then just slowly add the darker colors, especially when you're mixing a light blue or mixing. And some people start off with the blue and then they start adding white and you keep adding white and adding white. And you can see how strong some of these colors are. And you just need, it's really the light colors. You just need a little bit of dark to change the color. All right, here's the stem here. Let me try to keep that light part and then just fade out the background. See, like right in there. Notice that part right there. I should zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. It's like magic. See, I got the dark, the light, and then the background, I just shading it. And then I'm trying to blend it out. Blend it out. This one's all just shaded. This one's all shaded. This one doesn't have any highlight. All this one's all just one value. There's a little stem or little thing that hooks onto this one here. And that's where we need to actually erase a little bit and clean right there. Right there. See, I have to go in there and do some surgery. Because the little stem goes up and around like that. And then it attaches itself, but there's a light spot. And this is where you really need to do some surgery. I wish I can make it bigger. And my eyes aren't what they used to be. So I'll be getting glasses what day is it? Where's the 21st of my appointment.
Welcome to the club.
Thanks.
Is this for the first time, Eladio?
Well,
Or you already have a prescription?
I have a prescription. My vision isn't that bad. It's really just slight. But
Sharpen.
I've noticed I've always been nearsighted, but and it wasn't really bad. I was always nearsighted, so I can see near, and I can see near really well. I mean, I can see like really small, like all these letters here. I can still read it. 3 made in Germany, right? I can see it. I mean, all without glasses, but it's a little
I
blurry.
can't see it even with glasses now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What is it?
Barely see it with my glasses.
Oh.
I need a new prescription.
It's terrible, isn't it? I'm the same.
Yeah. So now it looks like this. Actually, not like that, but it's my vision is not as sharp as it used to be. I'm like, ah. And then my hearing too. My tinnitus. So I was looking up tinnitus, and I came across Beethoven, who got tinnitus, and he actually was deaf when he wrote a lot of his compositions. And it was interesting.
You had tinnitus as well?
Yeah, he had tonight. He started off as tinnitus, and then he
How-
slowly lost his
when-
hearing.
How about
And-
you? You also too?
I have tinnitus. Yeah,
When did yours start?
I started a long time ago. I would say about maybe 5 years ago. 5 years ago, but this, yeah, this year it was really bad. This year I can really a lot of ringing, but my hearing is actually that maybe I still hear a lot of ranges and stuff. The doctor says. So yeah, it is what it is.
What
Mine
happened?
started,
Tinnitus or
Huh?
what is tinnitus?
Ringing of the ears. Beep. I can like it's a constant, never ending. Beep.
mine started 3 months after my abortion.
Oh no.
I could hear like a radio frequency going, turning to a different station, trying to find FM station or AM station.
Really? Was it like
And then and then all of a sudden it just zzz, die out.
oh really? Wow.
So it's been like this since 2004.
Wow. Yeah, if you go to any concerts or loud music, you'll get tinnitus for a day or two. But this is just constant, just like always. It's always on. All right, so there's a lot of little details in here. And the thing is just to notice them and try to capture them. I mean, there's all these little veins. You can see that there's highlights in here. You try to capture. I would probably easier just to go in with an eraser afterwards. Just try to get, I guess, that tone. And actually, this is what's called the tone, the tone of the. And you want to capture that. This is what I would do. I just do the whole tone. That's the tone of the this little pod. That's that one tone. Then it goes darker with the little like little veins. And all I'm doing is really just trying to capture what I see. These little dark veins in here as it goes up and it goes into that. They get lost up in here. There's just little, and all this is just detail. These little veins that get lost in there. Then you can go back in here with an eraser and pick them up. Let me see if I can get a sharp point on my eraser here. And you can actually go in here and then I can't, it's too small. I have to use my cut paper. There it is. My erasing shields. They're called the erasing shields. Close it up a little bit. There we go.
Oh, a lot of these are in.
I'm sorry?
These are racing shields, right?
Oh yeah, that's it. That's an eraser shield. Yeah.
I took it out when you mentioned it. And I was like,
Yeah. That's one. Let's go in there and erase. There we go, like this. I make my own. Right here, let's see, watch. And just erase in between. Sometimes paper is actually thinner than those metal shields. So you picked it up, but went too far. Yeah, this is where the surgery comes in. This is where, like, you're looking at it and putting the veins in, make sure you don't cut the wrong vein, and then getting that right. And this is where just as it gets later, 10:34. And sometimes just you don't have to get all the detail. You can just it really depends too on what your purpose is. If you're just doing it really quick, telling a story, or if you're really trying to observe and trying to recreate life. And there's an artist that says, well, just take a picture. If I wanted to get it that real, I would just take a photograph. I'm like, okay. But sometimes just the satisfaction of being able to get observe and really see and become one with what you see, and recording it and doing it and saying, hey, I did that. I took this journey from there to here to that. I'm going to shade all this in one value. And it's the light on this side. This is the light side. I can go back in here and shade the background darker. Yeah. This is just an HB, a middle shade. When it comes to drawing pencils, the H is lighter, and you don't actually need all the light pencils. I remember when I bought all the pencils, and then I just heard recently, like, oh, okay, those pencils are for like more like technical stuff, but you don't really need the light ones. I'm like, oh yeah, I never really used them, because if you try to go, you can actually if you're using the wrong pencil, it makes your thing shiny, because the pencil's so hard. And that's why you want to use the softer leads. I'm going to shade all this in here. I'm bringing all the value down even further, pushing all this light area down there.
Do you
But-
have a favorite lead?
Do I have a what?
A favorite lead, like
Oh, favorite lead? I like HB or depends. HB is a good middle.
cool.
Then I like it in the Bs, but I always like start with the HB, the middle. And if I had darker ones, I'd probably be using them around in here in these dark areas.
Thank you.
I would push the darkness a little bit more.
Is there one brand better than the other?
When it comes to pencils, it's not a really big difference because it's all graphite. It's all graphite. It used to be lead and other metals, but they're pretty standard. They're all pretty good. I mean, I don't know. This is Prang. And really, I mean, you'd have to, when it comes down to like, you have to kind of be at it for a while and then have your own preferences. Like, okay, I like this one better, I like that one better. I mean, I just use whatever I have, so I just get. So I mean, I've never really tested like one against another, but pencils really don't stray much. When it comes, go ahead.
I used to work in stationery stores, and the Japanese brands are much, I guess, higher quality. But I don't know what's now. That's been what, 20 some years ago, but I don't know what's quality wise. But you just said just get any graphite.
Any graphite pencil, and then maybe, and then little by little, you have to do your own, say, okay, you get used to one, and then you try a different one, say, oh, okay, then you can really notice the subtle differences. When it comes to paint is different. Some paint, the pigments they use, and that there's more variety or more changes with paint and stuff. All right, I'm gonna spend a lot of time on this one right here, because actually this one has probably the most detail. The other ones are kind of faded out, and they're kind of like more like this one, because I'm still actually losing some of the veins and some of that. Look, see, I can just put a vein in there really quick, and some of the detail that I can actually push a little further, even like the shading, push a little further at the edges. So I'm going to focus on that one. I think we'll call it a night. It's already 10:40.
Oh wow!
Yeah. You see, you can get lost in the drawing. Lost in the drawing. You can recreate it, but yeah, you can see that. Look at that coming along.
Emmy, you're a good teacher.
Thanks for the compliment.
Awesome.
Well, I don't know, it's a tough, it's a challenge. So the tip
miss-
here, you can see, hey, go ahead.
Do you miss not get up early to go to school?
I still get up early.
Oh,
And I know I don't miss it. I don't miss going to school. All right, so this is a really dark vein that kind of comes up with that goes up. I captured that. That's kind of splits it. And then all this is in shade as it goes up. All this is in shade, is half of this pod. Let me zoom in a little more. Really focus in, see what I'm doing. Yeah, this should have been drawn bigger. If you're really going to get into all this stuff, really draw bigger, but it's all right. This shape comes out this way. That shape goes out that way, like a little heart bump right in there, bringing it out this way. And the angles, and then just here, I'm just building it up now. Now I'm just building up the shading all up in here. And it gets lighter as it goes to that tip. All in here, it's just pretty much the same value. All that same value. And it goes a little bit lighter as it goes higher up. And I'm softly bringing it up. And leaving actually the light on this side, because the vein goes up and the light kind of hits there. Now I'm going to push the darkness a little bit darker now. See, you can see this where it's light in there, the light as it comes down here. I'm going to push in a dark right in here, a little bit darker. Just slightly darker now, right in here, just pushing this and trying to keep it soft. But I'm just pushing it a little bit darker. The edge is soft. I'm trying to keep the edges soft. So I'm going in little circles here. There we go. That's it. And so there's that line here. There's a little bit of a light gap. It's still part of that vein. And then this blends out. This blends out right in there. Blends out. It blends out. So really strong right at the edge. Then it blends out. Bring it up to the top. There's another vein. And then all that's just dark. It's just like an upside down Y. Right in there, an upside down Y. And then it blends into dark down here. I'm going to shade all this bottom half really lightly, really lightly. I'm shading this really lightly. As light as I can go. I can always build it up, but you see, just getting that dark right in there. Darker. Slowly building it up. All right, I'm going to bring this vein down and that darkness right in here down a little bit more too. I'm pushing that darkness just slightly. That vein gets lost in this dark part right in here. And actually, it's a crease that pushes in and it's darker right in here. So I'm pushing it in as those veins kind of get lost in there. And then there's all this little texture. I mean, you can actually just make scribbles to capture that texture. Unless you're really trying to get accurate. Yeah, little scribbles. All right, that's good. I'm going to soften this edge right in there. It needs to be a little softer. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to push this here a little further too, as it goes dark, as it comes up, and then I'm going to soften that edge. Soften. Another little like wrinkle that kind of comes up and out. It would be neat to paint. I don't know. I'm just drawing, so do some painting. But I don't know if everybody would have the same materials and
well, you tell us, get the material and we'll
You could do pen and ink there. Most people have a pen and it is, I'm sorry, it is Inktober.
Yeah, it is Inktober. It is Inktober. And there's oh, I saw there's a whole list of every day has a different drawing for Inktober. We have Inktober people. That's awesome. Yeah.
What is that? October.
Every year they have it's people do drawings in ink for October. So it's kind of like a thing they do.
Oh.
So there's my pod. There's a lot of nice little detail in here in the stem, right in this part as it goes out. I'm gonna shade all this right in here slightly, pushing it back. There's that light part of it. And then there's the dark part of the stem. Dark part of the stem as it comes back, and then there's this little knot right in here where it bends. Getting that little knot in there. Best I can. And then it goes behind the pod. And just bring it out. There's another knot up here. You get the angles. I'm trying to get the angles because it goes here and then it goes here. I just hit it as a curve, but there it's a little straighter. And then it a little straighter to there, and then it out to there. Oops, zoom out. Yeah, so I had it as a curve, but now I'm kind of like straightening it out. Straightening it out just slightly. All right. 9 hardcore heroes. Have a marathon. A drawing marathon. And you get up and stretch. Make sure you're stretching. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. If you can.
What's your record for how late you stayed?
Oh, this is it. We haven't stayed this late in a long time. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, with 10:30, we've been staying, I think 10:30. We at first we did stay till 11:30. But yeah, this one. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And my recording is still recording. We might have to pause it. Yeah, this is a long one.
Let's share, Hilario.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's share.
We can't let you make them prettiest picture.
Okay.
Can you bring it up so I can see the pumpkin, please?
Oh, yes. Let me zoom out. You mean? All right, let me zoom out. Hold on just a second. Oh, I'm like, how am I doing this?
Wow.
There we go.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
Does look really good.
Yeah, and it's just experience, and you can see how I did it. And that's what's more important is the process. How did I do it? I drew it, sketched it out, and slowly build up. And this is the first time we kind of do this. You build up your values, and then just seeing the values. I can zoom in on the this again. And zoom out. All right. Okay, I see some hands. Let's take a look. Hog the spotlight here. All right, here we go. Who's on first? What's on second? Here we go. Is that I don't see any more hands. I'm gonna stop recording. So let's see. Here we go. There we go.